Hello and welcome back to another episode of Skyrim on Nyxus Gaming. That's right, if you thought over 200 episodes wasn't enough, we are back into Skyrim with another guide series. This is a little Nyxus guide where we take various collectibles in the game and we scrunch them all down into a little video so that if you want to find them all, you can just watch this instead of an over 200 long series on the game. Today, we are going to be going over the housing and buildings that you can buy in the game where you can store all your stuff and send your companions to, all the fun stuff. We're going to be starting here in Whiterun with the cheapest house available in the game. We're going to be going after Breezehome. Now, this one becomes available to you in the main storyline. You can get it just after you bring the Dragonstone back to Dragon's Reach, and before you're sent to face the first dragon. I don't know why I'm having issues speaking. I had that amazing intro, and now I'm just bubbling out. But yeah, basically, you don't even need to fight a dragon in the game to get your first house here. You can go on free of the dragon plague and live a peaceful life here in Whiterun. Now, before you're sent down to meet Irileth at the town gate, Jarl Balgruuf here will give you the option of buying the house from Proventus Avenici here. Don't worry about the homestead here. That is actually Creation Club content, which I will be getting into at the end of the video. We'll be doing all those houses as well. Don't worry, you'll get to see them. We want to purchase a house in the city. Like I said, it's the cheapest in the game here in Whiterun. 5,000 gold.
Splendid. There's a house available right now.
I'll take it.
Wonderful. Here's the key to your new home.
So he gives us the key to the home and a little decorating guide for it. If you go there now, it's going to be bare bones and pretty empty, maybe a few pieces of furniture thrown about, and a bunch of cobwebs. We actually want to talk to him about decorating the home.
I'll be glad to help you. There are many ways to improve your home, provided you have the coin. And of course, don't forget to consult your home decorating guide for descriptions of the decorations you can buy. Now, what would you like to purchase?
So yeah, as he said, the home decorating guide is just gonna give you descriptions of all this various things you can buy. I'm gonna be buying everything here but the children's bedroom. That's because in this house in particular, you can either have the children's bedroom or the alchemy laboratory. Now, if you're planning to move a family into Breezehome here and you have adopted children in the game, then you're gonna need the children's bedroom. But at the moment, we really don't need it. I will be showing it off, however. But first, let's buy everything.
Very well. I'll make the arrangements. The next time you visit your house, your new furnishings will be in place. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
There's the alchemy laboratory, loft decorations.
Very well. I'll make the arrangements. The next time...
And he says the same thing every time after you buy something, so I'm just going to skip that dialogue. You get dining room decorations,
Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
bedroom furnishings,
Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
living room furnishings,
Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
and the kitchen
Very well.
furnishings.
Is there
And you
anything
can
else
see
you'd
down
like to
here at the
purchase?
bottom, now it will tell you need to replace the alchemy lab with the child's room. We will get to that in a second.
Enjoy
Let's
your
go
visit to
look
Dragon's
at
Reach.
our new house. I actually wasn't paying attention to how much those upgrade costs cost either, so I'm going to flash it up in the top left corner here, the total amount of money for all the upgrades. The house itself, Breezehome here, is going to be located near the main gate of the city, just next to the blacksmith. I don't care, Duroc, I'm doing other stuff right now. It's located right here, and you can see it's a kind of small house, which makes sense. Like I said, only 5,000 gold, cheapest in the game. But let's see the inside, shall we? You got a lovely little entrance area, which I guess doubles as the living room with a nice little fire in there to keep warm. Towards the back, I'm assuming this is the dining area, the big table with all the food in it. This room in the back is gonna be your alchemy laboratory or your child's room, depending on which one you chose. So you got a few books that you can read, but more importantly, the alchemy lab there. and a storage in the back for all your alchemy ingredients as well. If we head upstairs, you can look around. It's mostly just a basic attic area. You have a little weapon plaque here to store your favorite weapon, and through this door here, you have your bedroom, of course. You got your bed, you got more storage on the sides, a few drawers you can throw stuff in, and more weapon and shield displays just above the bed. You can, of course, take these down if you want to, and you can activate and put other stuff up there if you want. Overall, this really isn't a bad house for costing only 5,000 gold. And honestly, I usually end up using this house for most of the game, up until I can build one of the Hearthfire houses. And I do that because not only is it next to the main gate, as soon as you travel to Whiterun, you can run over here, get in your house. There's also the blacksmith right next to it. And Whiterun as a whole is in the center of Skyrim, so it just makes a really nice house in the center of the map for you to store all your stuff in. But let's see what other options there are to live in. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and replace the alchemy lab with the child's room and see what that looks like. With the addition of the child's bedroom, instead of the alchemy lab, you will have a small room here with 2 children's beds in it. They say they're owned. I'm assuming that's because they're owned by me, but I don't actually have children to sleep in them. And you get a chest here and a few just small child things in it. You got a small chest here and a small little training dummy. Really nothing too special about this room. If you're not going to get children, I would definitely recommend the alchemy lab over this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. We're probably just going to close that door and ignore it for the rest of all time. Let's go to our next location. Now, the next cheapest house in the game is going to be Honeyside, located within Riften. Officially, this house costs 8,000 gold in order to purchase, but there's a small bug with it, in which the minimum price for it was set to 5,000 or something in the game files. Don't ask me how. But due to that, when you speak to the steward about buying it, you have to have at least 5,000 gold in your inventory. And if you have anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000, she will just take that instead. So if you want to save just a few thousand gold, just come up to her with 5,000, and that should work. Unless you have the unofficial patch like I have, and then of course it's going to cost the full 8,000. Now there's a good bit of stuff you got to do in order to get this one. If you have the original Jarl still in charge of Riften, which is Layla Lawgiver, then you're going to have to start with a small 3-part quest in the town. You're going to want to go find Wujita at the Riften docks and talk to her. She's going to ask you for a health potion. All you got to do is give her that health potion. That's the first part. Then she's going to tell you who her skooma dealer is. You got to report the skooma dealer to the Jarl here, and the Jarl's going to ask you to go to a warehouse in the docks and deal with that dealer, and that's the second part. And then the third part, when you come back to the Jarl, she's going to ask you to clear out the whole operation. She's going to send you to a cave known as Crag's Lane Cavern up here in this part of the map. You'll clear that out, you'll come back, and you'll finish the 3-part quest. That's not all, however. After that, you must have helped at least 3 people around the town of Riften, or around the hold as an entire region. This can be simple stuff as easy as just brawling people, getting into a fist fight with them and winning, or doing little delivery quests or random item quests, or just doing actual side quests for them. All of that will count as little quests to help you become Thane of this place. And then once you've done all that, you will be able to purchase the house. I find the 3 easiest quests to do, by the way. You can go to the stables outside Riften. You can fist fight that guy and win against him. You can find Shudder, however you pronounce his name, getting into an altercation with Sapphire when you first get into town. And you can free him of his debt pretty easily with Sapphire. That counts. And then you can usually find Harold inside this keep or outside, training on some of the practice dummies. And he will ask you to pick up a sword for him from the local blacksmith, and that again counts. That's 3 easy people you can help in this hold. And then once you've done all of that, you can come here, talk to the Jarl, and she will say, I will make you Thane, but you got to buy a house first. And that's when the option to buy the house becomes available. I know that's a lot, and it sounds like a lot. There is another way to do it. If at some point during the main quest line or the Civil War quest line you replace her as the Jarl, and you have Maven Blackbriar here instead, then I think she just lets you purchase the house right away. I don't even know if you have to help people in order to get the option. She might just let you buy it. But of course that involves you going through either the main quest line or the Civil War quest line. Civil War quest line for the Imperials, by the way. Because Riften is a Stormcloak-aligned city, you have to side with the Imperials to replace her. But all that aside, once you have finally done one of those 2 options, 4 minutes into this explanation, it's a lot to take in, I know. You can talk to the steward, whether it's a Nuriel for Layla, or whoever Maven's steward is,
Welcome to
and you can purchase a house for 8,000 gold. Or less, depending on if you have the official patch.
Splendid! There's a house available right now.
Okay, that was a little embarrassing, but don't worry, I got the money now. I'll take it.
Wonderful. Here is the key to your new home.
Alright, so don't worry about that return to the Jarl of Riften objective. That is if you just want to continue on and become Thane. We already have access to the house. I almost walked out though, but remember, you purchased the house and it is barren inside. You want to buy the furnishings from her before you actually visit it. So I would like to decorate my home. Now, of course, just like Whiterun, you get a little guidebook to show you all the different furnishings and everything you can get along with this, or you can just go ahead and buy it. Similarly to Whiterun, the children's bedroom option was added in DLC, so this is going to replace the enchanting laboratory if you buy the children's bedroom. So either you want to have kids or you want to be able to enchant. One of the two. We're going to buy everything but the children's bedroom first, just like we did in Whiterun. We'll view that, and then we'll replace the enchanting laboratory. That way you can see a little bit of everything. This one's unique too. You do get some outside furnishings too. You get a little porch area. And you can see here at the bottom, replace the enchanting lab with a children's room. We'll do that here in a second. Let's go see the house. The house itself is going to be located near the main gate to the city. Here, as you're walking in, you're going to want to make a sharp right turn past the Banshee that should not be standing there with his hands on an invisible counter. Skyrim is a funny game sometimes, but here's the house right here. This is Honeyside. Now, the porch area, I'm not sure if this garden was part of it or if it was something that we bought. I'm pretty sure we bought this, but you have a nice garden here with a ton of different ingredients and food and stuff you can farm. And the porch area, I'm not really seeing what that is unless it's just this barrel or something, but let's head inside. Maybe it's an inside porch, who knows? So immediately you have the dining area right in front of you. You turn to your right, you have a nice fireplace. Continuing further in, you have your big bedroom here. And, oh, maybe the porch is outside this door. Maybe? I don't know if this tanning rack was included here or not. Yeah, I think this is, all part of it. I actually never knew about this part of the house. You get a nice little table here, a tanning rack, and this leads right down to the fishing supplies from the Creation Club. I don't know if that was intended or not, but this is a nice outside exit to the city if you need it. That actually makes that a pretty viable house option right there. But also, you get a basement with this one. You can head down. You got a few different potion recipes sitting on this table that you can check. This is all your alchemy stuff here. Your alchemy lab is right across the room in the corner. Another shelf full of ingredients, and in here is the enchanting room with a few different weapon displays, a couple of armor displays as well, and this of course will be replaced with the children's bedroom if you have that. Inside this store is I'm not sure what this is. I feel like this could easily have been the children's bedroom, but instead it's just a ruined room. I mean, I bought everything, so that's a little weird. Let's see what the children's bedroom looks like. And here it is. It is actually a kind of spacious and nice room for the children, despite being in the basement if you want to lock them up in here. Just kidding. But yeah, it's not a bad room for them, honestly. I would personally prefer the enchanting room, though, because I like being able to display weapons and armor, and the more of those displays, the happier I am, you know. But overall, not a bad house. It's definitely more spacious than the Whiterun house, and it is not that much more expensive, though it's not as central and in as good a location as the Whiterun house. I will give it that. Either one, though, whichever you prefer, they're both pretty good options. Let's go see what we can find in, I think, Windhelm next? Did I say Windhelm? I meant Markarth. Markarth is the next cheapest home that we will be checking out today, and in order to get this one, if you have Jarl Igmund here in charge of the town, which he will be in charge unless you've changed the allegiance of the town through the main game or through the Civil War storyline, he will always be here at the beginning of the game. If you have him up here, you're going to have to do 2 simple quests for him. You're going to have to go kill a Forsworn leader somewhere, and then you're going to have to go retrieve his shield from a dungeon. Both locations he sends you to are completely random, so I can't really advise you on any of that. But once you've done both of those, he's going to advise you to buy a house from his steward, the man to the right there. Now, the other way to get this house, if he is not the Jarl, if you have let the Stormcloaks take over this place through the main storyline or the Civil War storyline, then the new Jarl, who I'm actually not sure who it is, he will just allow you to buy land here in his town, just for instating him as Jarl, pretty much. So if you don't have this guy, you really don't have to do anything extra. Just walk in, ask him for a house, and he'll sell it for you. Unfortunately, we had him, so I had to do those side quests. But let's check out the house from Rarick here.
I'm Igmund's uncle, as well as his steward.
I would like to purchase a house in the city. This one is always going to be 8,000 gold. There's no funny business going on with the price here. He's not going to take extra. He's not going to take less. It is going to be 8,000 gold.
Splendid. There's a house available right now.
I'll take it.
Here is the key to your new home.
And that gets you Vlindrel Hall here in the town, but remember, it is barren, nothing is in it, until you talk to Rarick here about decorating your home.
I'll be glad to help you. And of course, now, what would you like to purchase?
Now, just like the previous houses, I gotta mention this in every one apparently, the children's bedroom was not in the base game. So when you buy the children's bedroom, it is gonna replace the alchemy laboratory. You can only have one or the other, but we can go ahead and buy everything but the children's room right now. That includes bedroom furnishings.
Very well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
Living room furnishings.
Well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
The alchemy laboratory.
Well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
Enchanting laboratory.
Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
And the entrance hall.
Is there anything else you'd
and
like to
once
purchase?
again, you can see there at the bottom, you do have the option to replace the alchemy lab with the child's room. We're going to check that out after we check out what's in the house now. Vlindrel Hall itself is located high above the main entrance to the city. You can see the main entrance there, the marketplace there, and you can see some stairs leading up this way and around over to here in order to get to your new home. Now, upon entering, you can immediately see the stuff on the sides that are from the entrance hall furnishings that we bought. As you go inwards, you get one big room here, which includes the living room, the dining room, and I'm sure the kitchen would be included here. I don't know. To the left here, though, is obviously your alchemy laboratory. You get all the ingredients on the shelves here in your actual lab here. You can head over to the right, and you'll get your enchanting room, which comes with 3 different weapon displays, one of which, actually 4 weapon displays, 2 of which can include a shield and 2 weapons on them. And you also do not get a mannequin in here, oddly enough. You also have these weapon racks right here, so you can add even more there. You know, I'm always a fan of item displays. It's how I display how much I collect, so I definitely look at that when I'm looking at a house to store stuff in. Here's your mannequin, by the way, just outside. That seems to be the only one in the house, though. If we head back here, this might be the dining room here, maybe, with the fireplace and the big table there. I'm actually not too sure. To the right, though, we get just another barren room with a small bed in it. I'm not actually too sure what this is supposed to be. It doesn't become the children's room or anything. But to the left, we can see our room, which actually looks very nice despite being in basically a stone-carved cave here. I would not mind living here. Overall, this house I would definitely say is worth the price of 8,000. I would probably take it over the Riften house, which might cost you 8,000 anyway, if you have that in your inventory. But let's see what this room over here turns into if we get the child's room in there. And here it is. Do you like that editing magic? I close the door on one room and I open it to a new one. I don't know how seamless that was, but I guess this looks nice. It's a child's room, so not much to expect. You get a big chest here, a couple of beds, more training dummies. Every child's room has a training dummy, as if you're training them to become killers. And that's ominous. But I think that just about goes through this house here. Now, let's head to Windhelm. The next house that we are going to be covering is that of Windhelm. Now, this one is a little bit special. You gotta do part of the Civil War storyline in order to unlock it. You either have to win the Civil War, meaning do the entire quest line for the Imperials in order to get it, or you gotta progress enough through the Stormcloak side to where you have liberated Falkreath. I believe this is the first quest after the big Whiterun attack. So once you've done either of those, you can talk to the steward here and buy the house. Let's go ahead and buy this house for here.
Folks are finding victory across the land. There is an empty home in the city, but there was some unpleasantness recently. I'm afraid it's not available just yet.
So that's actually a bug from what I've looked up. It's related to a quest here you do in Windhelm about a murderer on the streets at night, and unfortunately there was a murder that took place in that house. There is a big mess. That is the unpleasantness that he is talking about. You can purchase the house before dealing with that quest, and you should be able to purchase it after, but I'm not sure if you can purchase it during that quest. I've already completed the quest, so I should be able to buy it, but it still seems to be bugging out. The only fix for this I know on PC is to open up your console. Don't worry about all those commands. We are going to set stage A7B33 and set that to 10. And what that is going to do is it's just going to automatically buy the house for us for 12,000 gold. That is the base price of the house, 12,000 gold. It's something that I should have been able to do from that dialogue, but like I said, it was bugged out because we love Skyrim and all of its many bugs. Now that we have the house, though, we should be able to talk to him. I don't know which one of these rooms he went into. Here he is. We should be able to talk to him now, and not that option.
We're trying to make some more.
It's a lucky time to be alive.
You should be able to decorate the house, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It's still bugging out a little bit. So it turns out I had not actually done the Blood on the Ice quest as this character yet. So I went ahead and did that, and now I have the option to decorate my home. So that means I was a little wrong. You can't actually purchase this house until you do Blood on the Ice, apparently. That probably would have fixed both the bugs that I had. But anyways, it's all fixed. Now let's decorate.
And of course,
now this house is a little different from the previous ones, as it is a pretty big house. You don't have to replace anything with the child's bedroom. You can get the child's bedroom and everything else. I will say, like I said, a murder took place in this house, and it can be kind of buggy if you don't clean up that murderer's mess first. So that's the first upgrade you're gonna want to get. And then you can run through, you can get the kitchen furnishings, the bedroom furnishings, the living room, the alchemy laboratory, the enchanting laboratory, the armory, and the children's bedroom. Like I said, you can buy everything here. You don't have to replace anything with the children's bedroom. So let's go check it out. Now, if you've already done Blood on the Ice, which you should have, and you haven't cheated in the console to buy the house like I did, then you should already be familiar with it and its location. It is with all the bigger houses in town, kind of north of the marketplace, past the graveyard there. You'll run into it. It's all the way up here in the corner. This is Hjerim. So looking around immediately, it looks a lot nicer than how the murderer left it. You got your living room here. You got your big, I guess this is like the dining room and kitchen area. You got pots, you got a fire to cook on. You got a little table to eat at. You also got a lot of potions on this shelf here. That's not even the alchemy lab, and they're just throwing potions in there. If you head to this back room, this is your children's room here. Nothing too special, just some small beds. And they are right next to the alchemy and enchanting room. Both are in the same room here. You got your ingredients. You got your plaques for any weapons you want to enchant and put up. You got all your soul gems here. Very nice. And it's kind of cool that it uses the secret murder room to put all that in. A very cool feature, if you ask me. Your kids will never know that you're doing magic right next door to them. Upstairs, you got a pretty nice display with 2 armor mannequins and a display case and a weapon rack there. You got more display cases, more weapons racks. This just looks like a big place to display a lot of stuff here. Over in this room, you have another one of the empty rooms we've been running into, which I've actually learned at this point in the guide will have stuff in them once your housecarl moves into the house. I was not aware of that. And then finally you have this room, the big sort of master bedroom that you're going to sleep in. It is quite spacious. You got more things to display stuff on and a lot of storage to do stuff with, and even more potions. This house has a lot of potions that it just kind of gives you. But overall, this is a very nice house. I think I would honestly prefer it over the Solitude house, which we'll be getting into next. So I was a little bit wrong. We are here, we're getting the Solitude house next, but I had mentioned in the Windhelm house section that you would have to finish the Civil War quest line in order to get it. No, that is completely wrong. All you got to do for the Solitude house is you got to come up here to the Blue Palace, and you'll see a little conversation between the court and this other guy talking about Wolf Skull Cave. You're going to want to offer to help with that and finish that quest, and then you'll come over here, you'll talk to Elisif. She's going to offer you a small miscellaneous quest to take the horn of her late husband to a shrine of Talos. Gasp! And once you've done that, you can come back and she's going to allow you to buy land in Solitude. Not land, you're going to buy a house in Solitude. Sorry, I've been doing the Hearthfire houses kind of in between this stuff. You buy a house here. And once you're ready to do so, you're going to want to talk to Falk Firebeard here, her steward, about it. Now, I will warn you, the Solitude house, Proudspire Manor, I believe it's called, is the most expensive house in the base game. I'm not actually sure if any of the Creation Club houses will exceed it in cost, but this costs 25,000 gold.
Splendid. There's a house
And of course,
available
that's
right now.
just the house. That's none of the furnishings inside it.
Wonderful. Here is the key
We
to
can
your
take a
new
look
home.
at the furnishings now. I would
I'd be
like to
glad to
decorate
have
my
it.
home.
Now, what would you like to
We can buy a
purchase?
bedroom,
Very well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
a living
Very
room,
well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
an alchemy
Very
laboratory,
well. Is there anything else you'd like to
an
purchase?
enchanting
Very well.
laboratory,
Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
some patio
Very well.
decorations,
Is there anything else you'd like to
a
purchase?
kitchen,
Very well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
and this is also one of the 2 houses in the base game that you don't have to replace anything with to get the children's bedroom. This one and Windhelm, you can get the children's bedroom along with everything else, so let's get that as well.
Very well. Is there anything else you'd like
Now
to
you may
purchase?
have also noticed something else in the
As you
menu
wish.
here.
Speak to me
Additional
again if you decide
decorations
to
for your
purchase
home.
something. Certainly. What did you have in mind?
This is something that is only in Proudspire Manor. You can buy a fish tank
Very well.
for
Is
your
there anything
creation
else you'd
club
like to
of
purchase?
fishing, and also fish plaques as
Very
well
well.
to
Is there
display
anything
all
else you
of
need?
your fishing stuff. So very
Anyone
cool.
with a stout
Let's go
heart
check
like
it out.
yours.
Proudspire Manor itself is going to be located just down the road from the Blue Palace there, across from the Bard's College and near the castle there. So it's kind of in the middle of everything, but it's also not near anything important at the same time. I'd rather it be near the town entrance or maybe near a shop or something, but not really. There are actually 2 entrances to it, as the most expensive house is actually also the biggest house. Who would have thought? You have this entrance here that we're going to start with, but you can also go up these stairs and to the right and enter in through there. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So this would technically be the basement area, I guess. You can see this is where the alchemy lab is. You get a ton of ingredients on the shelves and your actual lab there. Through this room is, I'm assuming this is the housecarl room, which is why there's just a single bedroll. I don't know if this will change at all when you get the housecarl, but there it is. If you continue this way, you run into the enchanting lab, which again has more displays for you to display all your new creations on, and the actual lab itself, and a few soul gems to go along with it to kickstart you. You even get a weapon rack here on your way up to the stairs to go to the next floor. Now this is technically the first floor, so it's going to be a lot more livable areas. You get the little entryway living room type thing there. I don't know what that is exactly, but this I would definitely call the dining room here. And then you can come back, go up further to the second floor, technically third. And here you get another dining area with a nice balcony that doesn't really look over the rest of the house. I mean, your character's not tall enough to really see anything there. Still cool, nonetheless. You got 2 rooms here as well in this left one. This is the children's bedroom here, which is quite spacious. These kids will be living in luxury. And I like the map on the wall too, so they know where they live. And of course, right next door is your room, the big master bedroom with the big bed. You got a chest storage and a bunch of other normal living commodities. I'm starting to run out of things to say for all these homes. They're just bedrooms, nothing too special, but it still looks nice nonetheless. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Proudspire Manor. That is the last normal house that you can get in the base game. Next up, we're probably going to head into the Hearthfire houses and get those all knocked out. There are 3 of them. There's one in Falkreath, one in Dawnstar, and one in Morthal. So let's start with Falkreath. Now that we've gone over all of the base houses that you can get in the original non-DLC version of the game, all the boring ones where you just buy the house and you buy the decorations, we're going to get into the Hearthfire houses now, and these work a little bit differently, so this section might be a little strange. We're going to start here with the house you can get in Falkreath, known as Lakeview Manor. Totally didn't pause to look that up. It's actually my favorite of the 3 Hearthfire houses that you can build, and in order to acquire it, you will have to do some stuff for the Jarl. In the beginning of the game, you'll have Siggeir as the Jarl here, and if you have Hearthfire installed, which you probably do if you want to get this house, at level 9, he will send you a letter to come here and become his Thane. Before you can do so, however, he's going to give you a quest in order to go kill a bandit leader somewhere in his hold. You can go do that, you'll come back, you'll be Thane, and he will give you permission to buy land in his hold. You can do this without being level 9, but you'll do another quest before then, which basically all you got to do is just bring Blackbriar Mead to him. Is easy as that. Then he'll give you the bandit quest, and then you can purchase the land in this place. Now, if during the main quest line or the Civil War quest line he no longer is the Jarl, then you'll have another guy, but that guy will just automatically let you purchase land here in Falkreath, just as a little thanks for installing him as the leader here. I think most of them work like that, and at this point you've probably heard me say that for pretty much all of them. But anyways, now that we can buy land, you're going to want to talk to the steward, Ninja, or whoever the other guy has.
I'm the steward here. I serve under Jarl Siggeir and Jarl Dengeir before him.
I'd like to purchase a house.
There's no house available, but I could sell you a fine piece of land where you could build your own house.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the Hearthfire houses are a little bit special. You don't buy the house, you buy the land, and you build your own house on it. As such, the only cost that outright goes into making these houses is 5,000 gold. Well, I guess that's not entirely true because you're going to be buying logs and stuff, but house-wise, you're only paying 5,000 gold in order to get the land. You're going to be building the rest of it yourself. You can buy the materials if you want, or you can just grind it out and find stuff all over the land in Skyrim, however you want to do it, but let's go ahead and take the 5,000 gold offer.
You won't regret it. Here's the title to your steading. Follow the road east from Falkreath, then north at the crossroads. Turn left just past Pine Watch.
The other special thing about these Hearthfire houses, compared to the ones we've already gone over, is they are not actually located within the main hold city. They are somewhere a bit further off, still in the hold, but not really near the city itself. So let's go check out Lakeview Manor. And here we are. This is the land at which we have available to build our Lakeview Manor. And I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the basic process on how you're going to want to do this. Every plot of land is going to have a carpenter's workbench, a chest for you to store things in, a drafting table, and an anvil to make various things you'll need to build stuff like hinges and nails and screws and stuff. There's also going to be somewhere located on the plot, not always in the same general area, there's going to be a log pile that shows you all the wood you need for building. There's usually a chopping block. Don't get this confused though. This wood that you chop here does not go towards the log pile. You're going to buy these logs from various mills around the game. The one I usually go to is the obvious one. You can buy wood for your home at Riverwood, one of the first towns you go to at the game. You're going to want to go see Hod, I think. The guy that knows Rayloff, and I think it's Hod and Girder. I'm not really too sure though. There's also usually going to be a clay deposit that you're going to want to mine stuff at. You're going to need a lot of clay to build your house. And also there is usually a stone quarry as well that you're going to want to mine at. You're going to need a lot of stone as well. And all you do is you pick up a pickaxe. You don't have to equip it. You just activate the quarry and you just keep going and you mine and it won't stop mining until you stop, until you input something. So you can just leave it mining and go out for a few hours. Hopefully your game doesn't crash, and yeah, easy as that. The clay deposit works the same, as you can see. Now, to actually start building your house, you're going to want to come over here to the drafting table. The drafting table's main purpose, not purchase, is going to be planning out the actual structure of your house. So, right away, you have the small house layout available to you. Once you activate that, you're going to move over to the carpenter's workbench. And this is going to include all the actual structure bits for your house. You can see it's got it cordoned off here. This is the area that the small house is going to be built in. Don't worry, it's going to get a lot bigger than this as you build. But yeah, think of this as you're actually getting the schematic for the structure, and then here you're actually building the structure. So how I think I'm going to lay this part of the video out is I'm going to show you guys the land, I'm going to show you what we're building, and then I'm going to do a little pause here that's going to include all the materials you need to build this section, and then we will cut to the finished product there. So, without ado, here's what you're going to need for the small house. And here it is. This is the small house done and complete. It's definitely small and modest. It's probably the smallest house in the game, but like I said, don't worry, we can add on more to it as we go. If you head inside, it's going to be barren. There's going to be another another drafting table inside, I think, to where you actually decorate all your stuff. But we're going to get to that in a second, because once you have the small house built, you're going to notice some more stuff appear here in the carpenter's workbench. This is all the outside stuff available for this house. This is going to be the same at pretty much all 3 Hearthfire houses, except each house has a unique thing to it. This house is the only house where you can get some apiaries set up at it. So, just like the previous section, I'm going to flash it up on screen, all the materials you need to build all of these, and then we will go look at the final product. Once you've built the outside stuff, you're going to find a few more utilities dotted around the house. Starting from the left here, you're going to have a stable here at the entrance that you'll eventually be able to buy a horse for. Don't worry, we'll get to that probably after we're done building the house. To the left of the house is an animal pen. You'll also be able to buy animals for this here. On the right, you're going to have a smelter, a grindstone, and an armorer's workbench for all your smithing needs. You have a garden here that you can build, where you can plant either food or alchemical ingredients, whatever you prefer. I think I decided to build food here in my playthrough, because this was meant to be more of a family house for me. But to each their own. Way in the back here, and it won't be so disconnected once we build the rest of the house, but way in the back you have your apiary here. You can search this periodically to get some bees or honeycombs usable in alchemy. So now that you've done all that, you should be empty on your carpenter's workbench here, and this is when you turn back to the drafting table, and you are now able to build the main hall. But before we do that, like I said, if you go inside here, this is just going to be barren and empty. Oh, not completely empty. You do get a chest you can store stuff in. That's nice. But you're going to want to look at the carpenter's workbench here. And this is going to include all the stuff that you can build inside this small house. It's not all available right away, because sometimes you'll make a table that's going to have something else on top of it. And the game doesn't want you building the thing on top of it until you've built the table. So that thing on top of it isn't even going to appear in this list until you've built the table. But just like with the others, I'm going to flash up all the ingredients, and we'll see the finished product. And here we are. This is the fully furnished small house here. It's, like I said before, it's very modest and small, but I definitely want to upgrade this. This bowl was on this shelf back here with 2 snowberries in it until Skyrim had to do the thing where it just sends stuff flying everywhere randomly. But just know that's usually on the shelf back there. But yeah, this is how it looks. You might want to hold off on furnishing this though, because once we build the next section of the house, we're going to get an option to remodel this small house into an entryway to the rest of the house. And when we do that, some different options are going to appear in the carpenter's workbench. Some stuff is going to get moved around, and I think a few things might also just get completely removed. So there'll be a waste of resources. Nevertheless, I am still going to include those components in the layout for this small house in the furnishing component section that you've already seen. But we'll note the differences when we remodel it. But let's go and get the next draft for the next bit of the house from outside. We're going to be building the main hall here. So go ahead. Also, I want to say, whenever you're done with the decorations in a section of the house, you can come here and you can remove the workbench so it's not in your way anymore. If you ever find that you removed it, and you still had decorations that you wanted to build or furnishings, you can just re-add it back. Completely free of charge. You can see it requires nothing in the bottom right there. Let's go ahead and get the schematic though for our main house, and you can see it is quite the big add-on in the back here. So you see it now. Here are the components needed. And this is your new main hall here. I told you it would get a lot bigger, and the funny thing is we are not even halfway done building this house. It gets even bigger. So let's head inside and check out how this main hall looks. You can see there's now a door here in the small house. Don't worry, we'll get to the remodeling part of this after we furnish this area. But you can see there's the main room here, a little back room. There's a second floor with some back rooms on it. And overall, just a lot of room for a ton of stuff. So let's get building. Here are your components. And here is the completed product for the main room here. Now, unfortunately, you can see the back room there is kind of empty, and it has its own workbench. That's because this main hall is actually divided into 3 different sections with stuff to build. But as you can see here, you got an alchemy lab here on the first floor for your use. And if you go up to the second floor, you get your enchanting table here, as well as a few display cases and some mannequins. Now, these display cases, if you know Skyrim, they don't work in vanilla Skyrim. I mean, they work, you can put your stuff there, but they won't stay static. They will bounce around and glitch out all over the place. I recommend getting a mod to fix that. But now that we've finished up this main room, let's move on to the next section, the back half of the top floor here. Don't worry, it's going to be less materials than the main room. This main room here is a lot. But let's get on with it. Here are your materials. And here we are. So starting here in the room with the workbench, you get a couple of beds, I guess like a little side room for your steward or your housecarl or whoever else you get to live in the house with you. You have this little back hallway leading to the main bedroom, which I'm assuming is where you and your possible wife sleep, and then you're back here into the main room. So next up, we're going to go downstairs and hit a third carpenter's workbench for the back room here. Here is what you'll need. And here is your back room, just a little storage spot. It does have a safe for you to store stuff in, another weapon plaque, but really nothing too special going on back here. But wait, you thought we were done with the main hall? You may have noticed while you were building the main hall that we built a cellar too. And that cellar is accessible from the back room here. And of course it is empty, and we have to go to this workbench here to fill it up. It never ends. here are your materials. And here is your new cellar. Now, I will warn you, if you want to get everything built in here, you will probably be spending most of your time on this house down here, mainly due to this shrine addition here. Now, this shrine has a shrine to every one of the 9 divines, but to make each one, you're going to need an amulet for each divine, a lot of different ingots, and a lot of different gems as well. You're also going to have various mounted heads around that are going to need monster parts all over the place. This cellar as a whole just takes a long time to finish, but it's not a bad place. You get the shrine, you get a few armor mannequins to go with your whole new forging area here, some safes to lock in your prized creations, some weapon racks to show those off. You even got a smeltery down here as well. And if you have the free Creation Club content for fishing, which I think comes for free in the latest version of the game, in the Anniversary Edition, you're going to get an extra add-on here that adds in a few fish tanks where you can now go fishing out in the world and you can drop your fish in these tanks to show them off to anyone that watches you play through the game. So that's kind of a cool addition, I guess, if you like fishing. I'm not a huge fan of it, but hey, this cellar overall gives my thumbs up to it. But that is everything, all the workbenches that have been added on with just this main hall edition. And like I said before, you may be thinking, this is pretty big already, but trust me, there's more. But we got to deal with another problem first. Now that we have this big house, you don't want people entering and having to sidestep or walk through this cooking pot. You don't want a bed in your entryway. So that is why we are going to come out here and take a new option. This option only appears after you have built the main hall there. I don't think you have to furnish it. You just have to build it. You can go to the drafting table. There's a lot of options right now. Don't worry, we'll get to those. You can scroll down to the bottom and remodel your house into an entryway, and this is going to change up a few things inside. If we head on in, you'll notice that it's pretty much empty. That's because a lot of the stuff in this entryway gets moved to other parts of the house now. Some of it does disappear, like I said, so you might want to hold off on building stuff in here until after you build the main hall, like I said before. But now we gotta fill this back up again with new stuff. This is stuff that was not here before, so you probably do want to add this on. Here is your list of materials. And here is your new entryway. Nothing in the floor in your way. You can just walk on through here into the living area, the main hall. You can see there's a couple more storage options. The cupboard, the chest is still there. There's also more weapon displays around. There should be 4 of them around, and then the display cases if you want to try using those as well. This is now a legit entryway. But with that, I think it's time to return to the old drafting table. And let's find out what our next project is. This is where it gets a little bit complicated, because we are going to be working on the east, the north, and the west wings. Now with these, you can't make all 9 of these, obviously. You're going to choose 1 of 3, and you can only work on 1 at a time. So with the east wing, you can choose between the armory, kitchen, and library. The north wing, you can choose between the alchemy lab, the storage room, and the trophy room. And with the west wing, you can choose between the bedrooms, enchanter's tower, and greenhouse. You see their designs there on the right, and some of them kind of match up. I tend to think all the tower designs like that are more for a magic style house. So you have the library, the alchemy lab, and the enchanter's tower. Meanwhile, you have the slanted roofs, which have a greenhouse, a trophy room, and a kitchen, which I would assume is more for like a hunter's type house or like a gardening, more of a, like a, I don't know what you would really call that. But then you also have the flat roofs here, which have the bedrooms, the storage room, and the armory. I feel like they should switch the armory and the kitchen. Make the armory a sloped roof and the kitchen a flat roof. Then you can have just a perfect house, like a family house type thing with all the flat roofs. Nonetheless, with this house in particular, with Lakeview Manor, I think we're going to go for the all flat roof design. For the second house we build, we're going to do the sloped roofs. And for the third house, we're going to do the towers in it. So, without ado, we're going to start off on the east wing, and we're going to build the armory. Now that we have that selected, you can come around to the east side of the house. Apparently, I don't know which direction east is. You can go to the east side of the house, and you can see it all cordoned off here and ready to build. So, here is what you're going to need. And here is the finished structure. Now, the flat roofs are kind of nice because you have the inside part, of course, but you also get a little bit of an exterior patio to go along with it. And anything that's going to be built on there is actually going to be included in the workbench inside that wing. But you can see it opens up here onto the second floor of the main hall. You can go downstairs, and the new doors are right here underneath the stairs. And it's not a massive room, but it gets the job done. Honestly, you already have more than enough room you need in the rest of the house. So, you don't need too much room here. But, let's start furnishing this place, shall we? Here's what you need. And here is our new armory. Now, honestly, this is a must-have for all of my main houses. When I build this one, I always got to put the armory in it. Because when I play this game, I like to collect a lot of stuff. And you can just tell looking around it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mannequins. There's a big weapon rack here for 4. There's another one on that side. There's a few other weapon racks around. There's a bunch of storage. There's chests. There's cupboards. There's dressers. There's display cases if you want to try those. There's another chest. This room is just perfect for collecting a lot of stuff, so it is a must-have for me. It also comes with a grindstone and an armorer's workbench if you want to build and upgrade your own weapons while you're in here. Also a tanning rack as well for armor. So overall, just a very, very good room, and I think a very important one to have if you are dabbling in the Skyrim. So that is that wing. All done. Trust me, all of these wings are going to be a lot easier than the main hall. They're all just going to be one step and done. Unlike the main hall, which had like 4 different workbenches we got to go through. So next we are doing the north wing here. And we're going to keep this house with the flat roof wings here. So we're going to be building the storage room next. So you can go ahead and pop that on. And we can come back this way up the stairs. I forgot to mention there's also some stairs that lead down to the apiary there. And like I said, some of the inside workbench stuff does add stuff to the patio area here, such as these archery targets and whatnot. But this is the area we're building in right now. Here is what you'll need. And here is your structure. This is on the back, just next to the apiary. You get stairways leading up on both sides as well. And also, once you've built a side wing and the back wing, you do get a walkway up top connecting them as well. Plus, I want to point out, this little patio area here gives a great view to your neighbor Necromancer and his dog at his spooky altar down there. Just don't let the children venture too far that way, alright? Let's go check out the inside. It's going to be barren, pretty much empty, but we can get an idea of what we are filling it up with. You can see the door here opens up into this back hallway on the second floor. You can head down and back through this back room that's no longer the back room. We're going to the back room now, and here it is. Let's see what we need for furnishings. And here is your storage room. Nothing too special to really say about this room, except, well, it's a storage room, so you're going to get a lot of storage. You got some satchels, some safes, a lot of chests, you got end tables, dressers, cupboards, pretty much a little bit of every type of storage you can think of for a house. Even a strongbox here if you want to throw some of your jewelry in there. But yeah, other than that, it's not really too much of a special room. It's just a lot of storage, which if you have built the rest of the house, you already have a ton of storage all over the rest of the house. But, I mean, it's a good family-oriented wing to build, I guess, if you don't want your children playing around with a magic tower or something else. So, that's the good thing about that. We're going to move on to the west wing. And for this, we're going to go with the bedrooms. Now, remember, you need the bedrooms in your house if you want children to move in. Your children, of course, not just any random children. Your adopted children will move in if you build this wing of the house here. So let's see what they need. And here is the final western wing of your house. That's right, we are almost done. Just like the other ones, it includes a staircase going up and down. And like I said before, there's now a walkway connecting it to the northern wing back here. I don't know if we ever looked out here before, but here's all the patio space on the northern wing. Just some furniture, tables, and stuff to go sit out on and enjoy yourself. But we can head inside, see where the door leads us. It's going to be on the second floor, right next to the staircase, across from the other door. And we can start to see what we need to fill in this room here. And here is the final expansion to the house. The bedrooms. Of course, it comes with 2 small children's beds to the side, a bunch of other random stuff just to decorate it. You get a table in the middle, and you get this big bed here, which I assume is supposed to be for you and or your wife husband in the game, but that's a little confusing because I always kind of consider this to be your room here with this big bed, but I guess, you know, owner of the house, you can have multiple beds, so why not? But yeah, overall, it's really cool for what I consider to just be a little kid's bedroom. But that is everything that we can build onto the house here. I would say the final step is to just come out to this drafting table here and remove any of the workbenches that are in rooms that you don't want to build anymore in. It'll just completely remove them, and if you don't have all the decorations and you want to add some later, like I said earlier, you can just put them back free of charge. But that's not everything you can do with Hearthfire houses. One of the cool things you can do with these Hearthfire houses is you can have a personal steward to your house as well. This can be any companion that you bring to the house, but I do want to point out how whenever you get a housecarl for your house, or a housecarl for being Thane, your housecarl will always stay at the house, so if you aren't using them, you could just make them a steward. What I like to do instead is find another companion that I like, and I have Lydia here just to show that it can be any companion, even a housecarl from a completely different region of Skyrim. All you gotta do is just bring them to the house and talk to them while we're here. And you should have an option. I need a steward for my house. Are you interested?
I'd be honored to be your steward. You've built a fine steading here.
And now she is the steward of Lakeview Manor. So you get her as a steward, and you still have your housecarl here. Rhea's sleeping right now, but during the day she will actually patrol around outside the house and protect it. So you get your own personal guard as well. Lydia, don't lay down. I need you. The steward can do many things. Okay, so yeah, you can make any of your companions into your steward, but I guess while they're still following you, you don't get any of the options. So I've dismissed her, and now, of course, she will stay here at the house whenever you need her. But now that she is not my follower, I have a few more options. I can make some improvements to the house.
What did you have in mind?
I can buy a carriage for
I'll see about
500
hiring a
gold.
carriage drive. Certainly. What did
I
you
can
have in
buy
mind?
a bard for 1500
Pleasant
gold.
to have some music in the house. Certainly. What did you have in mind?
I can get a horse for the stables
There's
for
one I've got my
1,000
eye
gold.
Certainly. What did you?
I can get a
Keep an eye out
cow
for a good
for the
cow.
animal pen.
Certainly. What did you
And
have in mind?
also a
I'll see to it
chicken
at
for the
once.
animal pen. And then, of course, also you might want to get the steward before you do all the building,
Of course.
because
What are we running
Lydia
short
can
of?
also buy lumber, stone, and clay for you. Now, the stone and clay you can just mine at the house, but the lumber you do still have to go to another mill for, so it's nice to have a steward that can just do that for you. You won't need to leave your manor at all while you're building at that point.
Very good, sir.
Well, I guess you still need all the other materials, but you get what I mean. She can also go ahead and just buy all the
room would you like to
furnishings as well. I guess if you don't want to get all the materials, I've actually never played around with this option. I've always gotten the materials myself, because I'm not sure if everything is included in this. I'll pop it up on screen right now while I'm editing, after I've done some research on that.
Very good, sir.
But yeah, overall, you want to get a steward, mainly so that you can get the improvements to the house. So let's take a look around there. We got a bard who hasn't showed up yet. Leaving the house and coming back in has spawned the bard. He is right here eating at our table. This is Llewellyn the Nightingale, not an actual
Allow
nightingale.
me to introduce myself. I am the bard Llewellyn, known as the Nightingale. Your steward has arranged for me to take service with you.
And of course, as a bard, you can tell him to play a different instrument, and you can make
course,
requests
anything
for
you like.
certain songs that you would like him to sing, like Ragnar the Red, The Age of Oppression, or just some regular
next time.
instrumental music with no lyrics or anything. The rest of the stuff we got from Lydia is going to be located outside. One of the first things you might notice is the carriage that just sits out front like this. We got Gunjar here.
Where do you want to go?
And of course, with him, we can now visit any other town in the game from our own house. So that is very nice, especially if you're doing a hardcore playthrough where you aren't allowing fast travel for yourself. Over on this side, you can see we got a horse here for our stables, and our two animals here, a chicken and a cow. And now that we've done all that and checked all that out, bought everything, I do believe this house is fully finished. This was a long part of the guide. I know it was over 30 minutes recording all of this. But don't worry, now that we've run through the whole process, the next two Hearthfire houses are going to be a lot quicker. So let's move on to those. The next Hearthfire house that we're going to be going after is that of Morthal, or the one in Hjerim. If you actually use the full name of the hold, I usually just call it Morthal because that is much easier to say. In order to get this one, if you have Jarl Idgrod Ravencrone, who is the original Jarl of the town, at the beginning of the game, you're going to have to do this quest for Laid to Rest, which involves investigating a burnt down house and finding vampires are involved and clearing out a dungeon. But after you've done that, you can come back and turn that in. Then you should be able to buy the land from her steward, Ulsfer. If she is no longer the Jarl, if you have replaced her by either doing Season Unending in the main quest line or doing the Civil War quest line, then the new Jarl should just let you buy land without doing anything for them, because they will be thankful that you put them in charge. That's how most of the towns work. But anyways, let's go ahead and buy this land.
I do what I can to see that
This isn't going to be
time isn't
much
wasted.
different
She only has
from
to
the
deal with important
last
matters.
Hearthfire house that we did. It's
Yes,
still only
it's
going
on
to
the north
cost us
coast of-
5,000
Excellent.
gold.
We're glad to,
to get
if
the
you
lands.
Don't mind getting your feet wet, your best bet is to head north past the mill. The odd tomb or two along the way won't bother you. The land is on the coast, across from the Karth Delta from Solitude. An inspiring location, as you'll see.
Yeah, it's still going to cost 5,000 to buy the land, and most of the building stuff is going to be very similar, so I'm going to cut out a lot of that part in this section. If you want the full process, go to the previous section of the video, which was Lakeview Manor, and I go through step by step there, basically. of how to build the entire house. I'm still going to show all the material costs here for this house and each completed step, but I'm not going to be explaining a whole lot of it since I've already explained it before and it's a lot. So basically the only stuff I will be explaining are the few key differences. So let's head over to Windstad Manor. So this is the land available for you to build Windstad Manor on. It's a nice bit of coastline property. You can see Solitude in the distance, but then you also sort of just got this ugly swamp nearby, so I'm not usually a huge fan of building here. But if you look in this direction, it doesn't really look that bad. The few things of note that you're going to want to find here is your wood chopping block for the wood that you don't even need to build the house. Right across from it is going to be your drafting table, chest, carpenter's workbench, and your anvil. Next to that is your log pile with your clay deposit, and your stone quarry seems to be the only thing that's kind of really far away. It is all the way over here on what will probably be the other side of the house. Now, I had mentioned that each of the 3 Hearthfire houses has a unique exterior item that you can put into it. For Lakeview Manor, it was an apiary, but you can't do the apiary here. Instead, for Windstad Manor, you're going to get a big fish hatchery section, which I think is going to go down here. I'll have more on that when we actually build the exterior items. For this one, we're going to go with the 3 tower wings, which is going to be the enchanting laboratory, the alchemy laboratory, and the library. So our supply costs will reflect those wings in particular. If you want to see the costs of the other wings, I recommend going to see the other 2 houses that I built for Hearthfire. I will have the supply costs for those in those sections. But without ado, let's get started. For this exterior stuff, I am going to go ahead and give a quick rundown. That way you guys know where everything is, and you can see the fish hatchery. Here's your animal pen right here. Across from that is the stables. If you go to this side of the house, you're going to get your garden. And all the way back here near where you mine the stone is going to be your anvil, armorer's workbench, your grindstone, and your smelter. And then all the way on this other side of the house is your fish hatchery. Like I had mentioned before, in this pond, I'm actually not too sure what you get from here. As it is not full yet, I'm assuming you'll get stuff like slaughterfish scales, fish eggs, anything that has to do with fish, similar to where the apiary gave you stuff having to do with bees. But yeah, that is all your exterior stuff, so let's get back to building. So I figured since these are actually new wings I'm adding onto this house, I won't just do the panning look through them, since you guys might want an actual tour of them. So starting with the library, which is situated on the eastern end of the house, the east wing, yes. I still can't figure out my wings. There's a few floors to it. You can access the first floor from the bottom floor of the main hall here, of course. You see these doors and you come in. And, well, it's a library, but it doesn't come stocked with books. Any books you collect along your journey, you can store on these shelves here. That's pretty much it for the bottom floor there. But you can go up these stairs and you can come in here to find even more shelves, but you do get a storage that you can throw extra stuff in. I guess maybe notes that don't fit on the shelves or something. But yeah, it's literally just a library that you fill up yourself. They also have the ladder here that goes to the actual top of the tower. And there's really not a whole lot up here except this random chest with some silver stuff on top of it. But you can look out over this tower fence here and see kind of some of the other land around. This doesn't have the best view because there's a mountain right there. But it's still nice. You can come to the top of the tower if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this wing right here. We're probably going to move on and build the next one now. The next tower wing is going to be the alchemy laboratory. So let's get started on that, shall we? For the alchemy lab, it's going to be accessible from the back room here, same room where you get to the cellar from, and it's going to be kind of in the same layout. You'll get to the first floor from here, you'll get to the second floor from the second floor, and there's going to be a tower or a ladder leading up to the top of the tower. In the first floor here, you have your workbench, and it's mostly just storage here. You get some nice satchels, you get some pre-spawned ingredients, and some barrels, and a whole bunch of places to just store all your ingredients. And this is where I wish there was an easier way to get up to the second floor, instead of running all the way out here and all the way back in through here, because the second floor is actually what has your alchemy lab in it. And, of course, even more storage for you. I honestly don't see why you would use the second floor alchemy lab when you have to run all the way out here this way, and you're going to pass this alchemy lab on your way in. I don't know, that's just me, though. And then, of course, we can open up this ladder hatch to Skyrim. And this one gives a little bit of a better view. You can see the coastline, you can see your fish hatchery, you can see your smeltery, you can see a whole lot from here. And you still get a decent view of Solitude in the distance there. And the neighboring Horkers. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this one. Oh yeah, there's also a chest and I guess an extra thistle branch ingredient if you really want it up here. But let's move on. Let's see what we're going to be building for the final wing here. We're going to be building an enchanter's tower. So let's get to it. The Enchanter's Tower is going to be very similar to the other two towers, in which you don't get a whole lot of use out of the bottom floor one. It's just some more storage pretty much. You got a display case you can throw something in, but other than that, there's really nothing to do with enchanting in this room. What's a lot better, and one of my favorite rooms in this current house, is the second floor. And that's because I love displays, displaying all my unique weapons and armor, and I really like how these strong boxes are laid out. You have these cups here that usually hold soul gems. I guess you can drop some in there if you want. And then, of course, your arcane enchanter on that side of the room. I just really like the layout of this room. It is aesthetically really pleasing to me. And then, of course, like the other two towers, you can climb up to the top here and get a good view, another view of the hatchery, a better view of the Horker neighbors, and probably a better view of Solitude, but then you got that disgusting swamp over here, which really makes me not want to build anything on this plot of land. But hey, it is what it is, and that finishes off the construction of Windstad Manor with all 3 tower houses. I am going to go ahead and get a steward over here and run through those options, though I'm pretty sure they're going to be exactly the same as the other 2 Hearthfire houses. If anything, our bard might have a different name, and he might offer different songs, but I guess we'll see. Give me just a second. So just like the other 2 Hearthfire houses, you can take literally any companion you want in the game here and just ask them to be your steward, and they will gladly be your steward. For example, I have Rhea here, who is a housecarl, but not even the housecarl for Morthal. She's a housecarl for Falkreath, and I have brought her and basically transferred her here to this region as my steward. Once you do ask her to be your steward, though, you're going to want to have her leave your service as a follower. Then you should get the option to make some improvements to your house. You can buy the carriage.
I'll see about certainly. What did
you can buy the bard.
Pleasant to have some music. Certainly. What did
you can buy the horse.
Ah, good. There's certainly.
You can buy a cow.
I'll keep an eye out for a good certainly.
And you can buy a chicken. Of course, the other things you can do with your steward here, you can buy building materials, and you can furnish stuff in the house as well if you want to, and you don't want to build a whole lot of stuff. But pretty much it's all the same options as the other 2 Hearthfire houses. They just might be in a little bit different areas. For example, I'm not seeing any of it. I think you got to refresh the area before any of it shows up. So we'll go ahead and head on inside and check out the bard first, who's already sitting down at the table. This is Sonir.
Good day to you. I am Sonir, the bard that your steward has hired. Please let me know if there's anything specific you want to hear.
Just like with the other ones, you can have her change her instrument if you want to, or you can make requests for songs. She does Ragnar the Red and Dragonborn Comes, or she can just play you some instrumental music. The rest of the stuff we bought is going to be outside. So here's your horse. It's another kind of whitish, kind of spotted horse, I guess. I think that's supposed to be spotted. I'm not really sure. Your carriage is over here. We got the lovely carriage driver Engar. That'll let us travel to any city or town in the game. Your cow and your chicken are, of course, in the pen. My cow is magical, apparently, and levitating. And then the last final thing, wasn't there something else that I'm forgetting? Nope, that was everything we bought from the steward, but it is worth noting that I just did learn that you can buy more than 1 chicken, apparently, so we can go back in, make improvements, buy another chicken.
Certainly. What did you have?
And you can buy a 3rd one. You can buy up to 3 of them for your farm over here, which means you get more eggs, I guess. You only get the 1 nest here, though, for the eggs. It'll just be 3 chickens sharing it. But yeah, that is pretty much everything here at Windstad Manor. I guess when it's all put together and you're looking in this direction, it really doesn't seem that bad. I just really don't like looking in this direction all that much. Oh well, let's move to the 3rd one, which is somewhere in Dawnstar. The final Hearthfire house that we are going to be going after is that of Heljarchen Hall, which is available in the Dawnstar region of the map. I believe they call this hold the Pale or something. I don't know, it's one of the weird ones, not actually named after the capital city. Anyways, you're going to come to the Jarl. If Jarl Skald is here, he is the original Jarl for this hold, the one at the beginning of the game. If he's here, you're going to have to clear up the whole nonsense with Veyarmina and her Daedric quest, and all the nightmares enveloping the town, and then he's going to have you go kill a giant, which I think is a random location. He sent me here to Red Road Pass. You can't actually do that part till you're level 22, so if you're not level 22, you cannot get this land unless You replace him as Jarl through either the main storyline or the Civil War quests line, in which case the new Jarl will just give you the land out of thanks for putting them in charge. Anyways, let's buy the land. It's going to be 5,000
No empire
gold,
is going to take the
if you
Jarlship away
didn't get
from
that
this
part.
son. Yes, it is. It's in the southern part of the Pale, right on the border with Whiterun Hold. All the room in the world to build your own house. Wonderful. I'll sleep better knowing you're watching the Southern Marches. Here's the title to your steading. Just follow the road south from Dawnstar, past Fort Dunstad. Then head south. The land is near Giant's Gap, right on the border with Whiterun Hold. You'll almost be inside of the Laureus farm, in fact.
And with that, we are good to go check out our new land, so let's go. And this is our lovely piece of land here that I am looking down upon. It's honestly not in a very bad location. It's pretty snowy, but it's a nice house up on a hill that gives you a pretty good overlook into the little valley area here. If you don't mind the snow all over the place, this is a pretty good place to build. I'm going to try and make this one a bit quicker. This is the third Hearthfire house we are doing. If you want a step-by-step guide on how to build this, go back to the Lakeview Manor section of the video. Otherwise, all you're going to get here are supplies lists for each part of the house, the finished product, and then all the few differences that this one is going to have. First, let's go over the quick layout of the place. Over here, you got your log pile that has all your logs you have stored away. Right next to that is going to be your clay deposit that you mine at, and your useless wood chopping block that you don't need at all. Across here is going to be your normal anvil, chest, carpenter's workbench, drafting table, and behind that is your stone quarry to mine at. Now, the only real differences with this house is your unique exterior object. Remember, each house gets its own. You're going to get a grain mill at this location. And then for this one, the 3 wings we're going to build are going to be the slanted options. So we're going to build in a kitchen, a trophy room, and a greenhouse. Other than that, though, everything should be similar to the other 2 houses we built. So let's get to it. And this is the entire completed house of Heljarchen Hall with a steward and all. Now I'm going to go through and show all the differences between this one and the other two I built. First of all, I do want to mention the steward. Same thing as the other two houses. It can be any companion you want. And just to prove it, I've brought a housecarl from a completely different region. He is the housecarl from Morthal, and I'm using him in the pale here, so it doesn't even have to be the same housecarl. You can get literally any companion to be your steward. And just like the other ones, you can use him to make some improvements. You can buy a carriage.
I'll see about certainly.
You can buy a bard.
It would be pleasant to have some certainly.
You can buy a horse.
Good. Certainly.
You can buy a cow.
Keep an eye out for a good certainly.
You can buy a
I'll
chicken.
see to it at once. Certainly.
You can buy another
I'll see
chicken.
to it at once.
And big
Certainly.
surprise, you can
What?
buy a
I'll
third
see
chicken.
to it at once.
He can also get some building materials for you, like logs and stuff, so you don't have to go to mills. And you can use him to get furnishings for your house, so you don't have to craft anything. But just know that it won't be an instant thing, it'll be an over time thing. I don't know how long it takes him to furnish an entire room, but it just won't be instant, like you crafting it yourself. Let's start off by checking out the grain mill here. This is the unique exterior object for this house. You use it, and you can create sacks of flour and straw here, so that's actually pretty cool. I thought the only way you could get straw in the game was by buying it from merchants, but apparently if you have this house, you can make it yourself, which is really useful because straw is an important material for any of your decorations inside your house. So if you're a cheapskate, you can just grow your own wheat and make it yourself there. We'll head on inside and check out the wing additions. Now, each of the slanted roof wings, they only have one floor to them, which is kind of lame. But the east wing here is a kitchen. And I'm assuming Oriella here is my bard. Usually they're sitting at the table there, but I guess she found her way into the kitchen. I did not put her here, I swear.
Hello, my name is Oriella, the bard that you asked your steward to hire. I hope my music will be pleasing to you.
Just like the other two bards at the other houses, you can have them play different instruments. You can request songs, which this one comes with the Age of Oppression, the Dragonborn comes, or some instrumental music as well. Moving on to the northern wing. For this house in particular, I built a trophy room, which comes with small and large trophy bases that you can craft different trophies onto. Now, the small ones are going to have the same selection. This is all the stuff you can put on the small trophy bases. The large ones have a different selection. And this is all the stuff you can get on those. Now, of course, you're going to need monster parts in order to build these. But it is a nice room if you want to display random creatures that won't attack you. Moving on to the western and final wing. This is the greenhouse, which usually I picture greenhouses as glass and being open to the sun and stuff, but this one isn't. It's just a little inside greenhouse with some more garden plots. These work exactly the same as the normal garden. You get outside, you can plant food or alchemical ingredients here, and you can just harvest them. So this pairs up really well with, say, the alchemy laboratory in another house if you really want that. But yeah, that's the 3 additions here. We'll head back outside. I'll show you where the carriage driver is right in front as you exit. His name is Marcus. And we got our new horse here that we bought. This one is a brown one. The other 2 houses get white ones. This one gets a brown one. Don't ask me the significance of it. I just note the differences. But yeah, that is pretty much everything for this house and the 3rd and final Hearthfire house. But we are not done with this guide yet. I want to go through all the Creation Club houses too, so I'm not sure which one I'm starting with. I'll probably do them in release order, so let's move on to that. Before we get there, though, I am actually getting ahead of myself. There is one more house that we can obtain here in the Dragonborn DLC. I am currently here in Raven Rock, and we are about to go into Severin Manor here. Now, in order to unlock this as a house, you have to do 3 quests here in Raven Rock. The first of which, probably the easiest, is going to be the Final Descent, which involves you heading into the mines, which are located right over there, and you do a big quest for an old guy that wants you to figure out his grandfather's secret in the mines, and you escape, and then you go tell him what happened, and that finishes that quest. Then you gotta go and do this March of the Dead quest, which involves you leaving town out that way, meeting up with the general guardsman guy who's in charge of all the guards in towns, Captain Veloth, that's his name. And he has you do a quest that deals with all the ash spawn attacking town. You have to go clear out a fort and kill another guy in order to get it. And then once you've done both of those quests, you then have access to this Served Cold quest, which involves you ending a threat on the counselor's life here in Raven Rock. And then once you have done all that, when you go and turn in the third quest, they will give you this manor here. Now this manor is a little bit different from all the other houses we've gotten. This one already comes fully furnished, and you don't have to pay anything for it. All you gotta do is just knock out the 3 quests, and they give it to you. Now, some parts of it do seem a little empty, like the main hallways here, but it is a sizable house. If we go to the left here, we get a bedroom here with not much else in it. If we head to the right, we get like a little training forge room here. You got a smelter, a blacksmith forge, a bunch of weapon racks, but you also get training dummies and stuff here. This is basically your smithing room, if anything. If we head a little bit forward to the left, we got an alchemy room here to the side with more ingredients on the shelves for you to grab, and to the right is your weapon enchantment area with plenty of weapon racks to store your stuff here if you want and display them all. And finally, in the last room, you have your bedroom here. You got your bed and plenty of safe storage and just all around some good displays and stuff for your personal items. I think this does have the most displays in it in this house, aside from maybe the Hearthfire houses. And then the Creation Club houses, of course. But out of any of the 5 original houses we got, this one is definitely better than all of those. Overall, not a bad house, though. If you're stingy and you don't want to pay money for a real house, just get this one. It's more than welcomeable. Now, let's go to the Creation Club. The first Creation Club house that we're going to be taking a look at is the Tundra Homestead. Now, this one, I believe, is available from the beginning of the game. There are no prerequisite quests you have to do. All you have to be able to do is make it here to Whiterun, and you can buy it from the steward of the Jarl, whoever it may be. I got a Brill here in charge right now.
Good to see you again, friend.
Yes, friend. I would like to purchase a homestead outside of the city. Now, it's important you don't get this confused with the other option for buying a house in the city. You got Breezehome, and you got this one here.
Wonderful. Here's the key to your new home.
And for 7,500 gold, he just gives us the key. There are no decorations for this house. It becomes fully furnished as soon as you buy it, so you don't need to talk to him anymore. Let's go check it out. Now, Tundra Homestead itself is here just outside the Whiterun walls. You can see Dragon's Reach just up there and some of the neighboring farms to the south. I think that's the meadery there. Let me just show you on the map here. Right about here is where it is. And it's not a very large house, but I think it's definitely worth the cost. It's 7,500 gold. I believe Breezehome within Whiterun is 6,800 after you've gotten all the furnishings and everything. And I think this house just comes with so much more. So unless you just want a house nearby the fast travel to Whiterun and everything, then I would definitely go with this. You can just fast travel to this house anyway, so why even care about that? Outside, you got your forge area, you got your smelter, your anvil, your workbench, your tanning rack, and even your grindstone here with a chest to store everything away. Over on the other side here, I don't think this is actually anything. This is, I guess it's supposed to be like a little stable area, but I don't think you can actually store a horse there at all. Maybe you can store a moose. No, probably not. Let's head inside now that we got the key. Take a tour inside. Now, like I said, it becomes fully furnished as soon as you buy it. And it definitely looks a lot nicer than Breezehome, in my opinion, here. It's a little compact, but you got everything going on. You got a little sitting, reading area on both sides with a little desk here. Over here's your little dining room and your kitchen with a little bar to serve stuff at. If we go into the left room here, you got the children's bedroom, along with your big bed. The whole family lives in one room here. Just make sure those children aren't too rowdy, am I right? You got a bookshelf to store books in and just some other random bedroom type stuff. If we go to the right, however, we start getting to the fun stuff. You have a alchemy lab here. Across from that is your enchanting area. I just like how nice this house looks and how compact it is. Everything is nearby. You can open this cupboard. It's funny, it actually shows stuff inside, but it works as a storage that you grab stuff from within. I really like that. My favorite part, though, is if you head down into the cellar, you got some more storage, some more bookshelves on the sides. That's fun stuff, right? Open the door. This is going to be a common thing with all the Creation Club houses. They have a ton of displays for you to display all your stuff. They have display cases, which you might want to get a mod to fix these because everything will just bounce around inside of them. But other than that, they are still good storage. You get quite a few mannequins around the room, as you can see, with some weapon racks along the walls and along the bottom here. You know, the normal stuff, but these also have unique displays. You have a display for every dragon claw in the game. You have a display for all the bugs in the jar in the game, and then a few random ones, like the skull keys there as well. You have a big display for all the Dragon Priest masks. And finally, if you have the Dawn Guard DLC, you have a display for all the Paragons, Oriel's Shield, and the Initiate's Ewer. Just sit there in like a little set for all the Dawn Guard things. So overall, like, this is probably my favorite part of most of the Creation Club houses. Just all the displays you get. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Honestly, I would definitely take it over Breezehome if I was in like a serious run of the game. I definitely prefer how this one looks and what it has inside it. But let's see what else there is to offer in the Creation Club. If you're looking for a more magical character-themed house, then the Myrwatch creation might be more up your alley. It adds this magical mage tower just to the east of Morthal here. And upon approaching it, you might get attacked by an odd chorus here and there. I find they respawn out here frequently. But the door seems to be locked. Well, this is pretty easy to fix. All you gotta do is come back to this guy, Hans here. You can read his journal if you want, but all it's gonna amount to is you just gotta cast a fire spell that hopefully I have somewhere here. Yes, you gotta cast a fire spell at this eye here. And once you do that, this little bunny rabbit appears, and it's going to run over to this brazier over here. A little slowly, might I add. And it's going to unlock the door for you, all magical-like, just like that. And you now can walk in, and this house is officially yours. It is a tower, of course, so it's going to be circular in nature. In the middle, you got a big living area with a nice little fire going. You got a couple bars set off to the side to serve food. If we work our way from the left, you'll notice first off that along the walls... Oh, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not at that room yet. Yeah, this is basically all your normal house stuff. You got your bed here, a bunch of storage. You have an odd mannequin or two laying around here. This is going to be your kitchen here, with your dining table. You got another fireplace, and then you got your children's beds here as well on the other side. If you go into the mysterious blue portal, it's gonna lead to the gallery. And this is what I was thinking of when I said along the wall, you're going to have a ton more displays. And I think some of these are for unique things. You got some that you can just throw anything in. But here you got Oriel's Bow, all the Paragons, the Initiate's Ewer, and Oriel's Shield. Just like Tundra Homestead had the Dawn Guard set, except this one includes the bow in it as well. The mannequins, I'm pretty sure you can throw just anything on. In this one, you got Harken's Sword, the Dawnguard Rune Axe, the Dawnguard Rune Hammer, and the Dawnguard Rune Shield. Basically, the rest of your Dawnguard set right there. Over here, you got your Ethereal Shield, Targe of the Blooded, Spellbreaker, and Shield of Ysgramor. These are all unique shields you can get in the base game that you can display here. And then over here, you got a bunch of unique staffs from the base game as well. The Staff of Geric Galderson, the Staff of Magnus, the Spider Control Rod, Sanguine Rose, Wabbajack, Skull of Corruption, and then up top you get unique daggers like Keening, Mehrunes Razor, the Blade of Sacrifice, Nettlebane, Cavozane's Fang, and the Blade of Woe. Looking across, you actually have a little more displays here, but these are just freebies. You can put anything along in those. In the middle, you got the same Dragon Priest mask display as the last one. Just display all those that you want. Up top, you got your Bugs in a Jar and a random weapon plaque. More random storage here. Put whatever you want there. And then here, you got more random stuff. One of these is another, like, unique set. I thought. I might be wrong. You can see just how many displays there are here. It's kind of insane. Here we go. We got the Glass Bow of the Stag Prince, Soul Render, Blood Scythe, and the Dwarven Black Bow of Fate, the Blood Skull Blade, and Champion's Cudgel. I think this is all stuff that you can get in the Dragonborn DLC, so it displays it nicely all together there. And then over here, you just have more random stuff that you can set there. In the middle, obviously, you got your alchemy lab here with a ton of potions and ingredients. You got your enchanting lab here with a bunch of soul gems and such. You got a little garden full of different ingredients that you can harvest. And you got your smithing area with your workbench, grindstones, your forge, everything you'll need to smith. This room in its entirety is one of my favorite rooms in any house I've ever had in Skyrim. I absolutely love it. I don't think that's it, though. I'm pretty sure there's one more room to this place that we can go to. It might be accessible from the base floor here. It's either that or I'm completely wrong, and that is it. Yeah, I'm actually not seeing it. So yeah, I think I'm wrong. It's only those two floors. But overall, I would definitely rate this higher than even Tundra Homestead. And it's free and super easy to get into. So there you have it. But what if instead of a mage player, you're more of a thieving character? Well, with the Shadowfoot Sanctum creation installed, the next time you make your way down into the Ratway towards the Thieves Guild, you may want to talk to Veckel the Man here.
You'd better have coin to pay for your drinks. There's no handouts here.
You'll have an extra option saying you're looking to make a home here in the Ratways, and this is available even if you aren't part of the Thieves Guild. I have not done any quest. I haven't even talked to Brynjolf up in Riften yet.
Splendid. There's a house available right now.
Now, it does cost 7,500 gold, though.
Wonderful. Here is the key to your new home.
It is still cheaper than the house here in Riften, and it is a lot better. It also comes fully furnished, just like the other Creation Club houses. It's going to be further back, though. You're going to want to backtrack into the Ratway here. And take a left at this table. Don't mind the lowlives. There's going to be a new gate here that you can open with the door to Shadowfoot Sanctum right behind it. And just like that, you've completed the quest. Now, it looks a little dingy walking in. Remember, this is the Ratway. You are located in the sewers, so it's going to be a little messy here and there. But you come in here, you got this big pool area. You can see the Thieves Guild markings on the wall, even though I'm not part of the Thieves Guild. This is your big forge area with the anvil, workbench, all of the likes and everything, the tanning rack, everything you need to make your weapons and armor. If you open this door, you're going to get into the actual living area, which starts to look a lot nicer. You got a dining table, you got more dining. Let's see, you got your kitchen in this room with a little bar to hand stuff out at. Behind this door should be your bedroom. This is actually your children's bedroom here, not yours. This one is your bedroom with the big bed here. You get a bunch of storage, but the cool thing about this, just like the other Creation Club things, you can open this wardrobe and open the false back panel to access your display room or your treasure vault or whatever you want to call it as a thief. You got your alchemy lab to the right with all your ingredients, your enchanting lab to the left with all your soul gems. And you can see what I count 16 mannequins here to store armor on. You got weapon racks to put stuff on. You got shield racks up top. I think that mirrors on the opposite side. It does. And you got your unique displays. I don't know what goes on these shelves. I'm not getting anything. Oh, there we go. Right Eye of the Falmer. Actually, I think I do. So in the Thieves Guild, you get larceny targets that you can steal from each mission that you do for the Thieves Guild, and I think you can take those and you can move them all to this display here. And that is only with this house that you can do that. So that is a unique thing you can do here. Definitely keep that in mind. Got more random displays, but here you can put the Spider Control Rod, Chillrend, and Grimsever. Seems random, but those are all weapons that you can get from either Riften or the Thieves Guild in general. Over here, you got more random displays, more random shield racks. You got your Dragon Claw display here on these shelves. You got your Dragon Priest Mask display there. More random racks. You got a Riften guard shield here that you can keep up. Say you want to collect a shield from every guard from every town. That would be kind of funny. And then you got your Nightingale display here. Of course, you can put anything on the mannequin. You might want to put the Nightingale armor there just so it looks good, because you can put the bow here and the blade here as well, and just have that big display. Over here are your bugs in a jar, and your paragons. And here you got more random stuff. We already looked at all that. So yeah, this one, I would say there's not as many unique displays here, but there's plenty of room for just whatever you want to display here, honestly. And the last thing I want to show off with this one is I think if you dive into the water here, you can go straight out to Riften from here. And I don't know why she's in the water, but then you can access this place anywhere just from this sewer entrance here at the docks. From any point, any time. I guess not any point, it has to be this point. You get what I'm saying, still a nifty secret entrance. Let's move on to the next one. For the next house, you're going to want the Dead Man's Dread creation installed, and in order to start this quest, you're going to want to come to the Winking Skeever, the inn here at Solitude, and you're going to find a book on the very back table over here called The Rest List. Once you go ahead and read that, you're going to get the quest activated for you. And that's going to have you go through a big process. You're going to have to find this pirate's corpse in the dungeon, and then you're going to go to the ship, and you're going to have to clear that ship of all the enemies on it. And I'm sure you don't really want to see that part. This video is all about the house itself, so let's cut that boring crap and get to the good stuff. Let's go see the ship. So this is the grotto in which you find the Dead Man's Dread ship in it. Once you've cleared out all the residents, it's going to tell you to escape through the cave there. All you got to do is come right back in, and the ship is basically yours. The main difference you'll see right away is that all the torches are lit up, which already tells you, like, it's already a different place. The place isn't as wrecked as it was before, and it looks so much nicer. There's not really going to be a whole lot on the outside here, though. You can't really affect the steering wheel at all. So let's head inside for all the fun stuff. Yeah, already this looks so much nicer than when I first came in here. You're still going to see all the blue ectoplasm bits from the ghosts if you come right back in like I did. But don't worry, those should despawn eventually. You got a shrine to RK right here. I guess that makes sense. RK is the god of the dead or something. And, you know, ghosts and pirates and skeleton crews Got a bedroom here with 2 small beds in. There's going to be a lot of beds in here because remember, this is a pirate ship and they had to house a lot of the crew. Honestly, most of this stuff around here isn't going to be too important, but I am going to show it off to you anyway. A lot more beds in there. Here is going to be your smithing room. You got your grindstone, your workbench, your tanning rack, and your anvil. I don't think they really want a forgery or a smelter in here because that might burn down the wooden ship. Probably a safe bet. This is your dining room here. And fun fact about this map, you can actually use it to travel your ship to any of the different port cities you see around the game. Even Raven Rock, which is included in the Dragonborn DLC. So that's very nice. You also have your alchemy lab here with all your alchemical ingredients. And your enchanting table with your soul gems. So this here is a very important room to know. Got another bed in here. I'm not sure which of these rooms is actually supposed to be yours. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I'm pretty sure I do. Part of this quest, funnily enough, involves the main antagonist of an Elder Scrolls side game. If you have heard of Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, you might know the main character is named Cyrus. And once you get down to the main captain's room, which is right here, you're going to be grabbing, I think I still have them in my inventory, Cyrus's boots, his clothes, and you also grab his saber here. That's right, that is the same Cyrus from the Elder Scrolls Adventure Redguard. And I'd assume your room is basically supposed to be his room as the captain here. Got a weapon rack with a little desk. You can probably read his journal if you want. I didn't, but it might provide some more backstory if you don't really know about the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguards at all. But yeah, overall this is a really cool themed ship house if you want to play pirate. My personal favorite part is being able to fast travel to any of the port cities from here. Overall, really good house if you want to do that. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we are going to be going for Hendraheim here, an old Nordic mead hall that can become yours for the taking.
That's something I'm supposed to... Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Next, we are going to be going for Hendraheim here, an old Nordic mead hall that can become yours for the taking. In order to obtain this house, you're going to have to be at least level 10. At that point, a courier will approach you in a major hold city like Whiterun or Solitude, and they will give you a letter known as the Warrior's Challenge. You're going to want to read that, and that's going to point you to this house here, where you're going to talk to this NPC, Advina Shieldhearth.
I understand.
And basically, she's an old Nordic warrior who just wants someone to challenge her, and if you can defeat her in combat, then you get the house. And once she is dealt with, you can take the key off of her corpse down here. And the house is as good as yours, so let's walk in and see what we got here. Now, like I said, it is an ancient Nordic mead hall, so you got the whole thing in the middle with the cooking spit and all the meat in it. You have the tables on the side for people to dine at. You got a whole display of different weapons and armor you can put up on the side as well. I really like that. I don't think any of these are for unique things, but we'll get to that. Don't worry. If you head into the back, you got a little kitchen, I guess, bar area here too. The back room is going to be the bedroom stuff. On the left side here, I guess right side as you enter, is going to be your big main bed, and on the opposite side is the children's beds over here with their little training dummy that they put in every children's room for some reason, and a bunch of storage to boot. You got a safe, a little desk for you to work at. Overall, very nice. The more important part, though, in my opinion, also I want to point out there's more weapon and shield displays at the main entrance here. The more important part is the basement. Got another weapon plaque right above the door as you walk in. And here's all your important displays. In the middle, you just got some mannequins and some display cases. You can put any armor or daggers in. And starting from the left, going clockwise, you got weapons and shield racks, some more mannequins. You have your Dragon Claw display here, even more mannequins. This is for Mace of Molag Bal, Dawnbreaker, and Dragonbane, which these two are Daedric weapons. That is a Blades weapon there that you get in the main quest line. I don't know why they're paired together, but they are. You have your Dragon Priest mask display. I want to point out this one does include Miraak in it. For some reason, some of the other houses don't include the Miraak mask, but this one does. And to the right of that, you have Volendrung, the Rueful Axe, and the Ebony Blade, which are more Daedric weapons. So they display 5 Daedric weapons and then just randomly Dragonbane here. I don't understand why. Here's going to be Oriel's Bow, Oriel's Shield, Harken's Sword, and the Dawnguard Rune Shield, Hammer, and Axe here. So basically, this is all of your Dawnguard weapons right here, and your shields. Another mannequin, you got your Paragons, you got your Bugs in a Jar, and you got the Initiate's Ewer, Torsten's Skull Key, Sarik's Skull Key, and the Kolbjorn Skull, which is really just a bunch of random collectibles on the bottom shelf here. The Skull Keys and the Kolbjorn Skull. And I think the only unique thing about this is that it's literally just a different looking skull in the game. Other than that, there's really no reason to collect it. But you can put it here, so why not, right? You got another mannequin. Here you can put Miraak's sword, his staff, and you can put the Dwarven Blackbow of Fate, Champion's Cudgel, Bloodskull Blade, Glassbow of the Stag Prince, Soul Render, Blood Scythe, Hoarfrost, and I think that's it, but those are all Dragonborn weapons from that DLC, so you can group all of those together. And finally, you just got a random weapon rack and shield rack here to display more objects of your own choosing. So overall, very good displays here. Definitely like it. I think this probably comes in second place to the Shadowfoot Sanctum, though. Shadowfoot Sanctum just has so many displays in it, and I'll always like it for that. Oh, I also forgot, you can put Wuthrad and the Shield of Ysgramor here in the middle, and opposite, you can put the Targe of the Blooded, the Aetherial Shield, and Spellbreaker. Just more shields that you can put here in the middle, and Wuthrad randomly. I guess because it goes with the Shield of Ysgramor, I don't know. But yeah, plenty of display in this house as well. Here's your Alchemy Lab and your Enchanter table here, right here. It's kind of hidden away. You gotta pay attention or else you're gonna miss it like I almost did. But yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Next up is Bloodchill Cavern. If you have this creation installed, you'll have to be at least level 12, and then another courier will deliver a letter to you. The letter in question is the dinner invitation here, in which you are invited into this cave high up on a mountain nearby Dawnstar and Winterhold here. And all it is a dinner feast, right? Nothing too bad, right? Certainly the name Bloodchill Cavern isn't ominous at all, right? When you get on inside, you're going to want to go in and speak to the waiter inside, but you can get a good view. It's literally just like a kind of vampiric mansion in the cave here. It's really cool. You got a bridge leading up to it. I will say aesthetically, this is probably the best looking, like, evil house that you can get in the game. You got these banners and everything hanging up on the side. We'll do a tour after we actually obtain ownership of the house.
Are you feeling sick?
Right away, you can tell that the waiter here is a vampire, just telling by his eyes.
Of course.
And he's going to show you over to the feast table. I wonder who the feast is, am I right? All we got to do is come over here and take a seat at the table. Everyone else is going to come over as well. And we see that there is a note on our plate. Please read aloud. I'm not going to read all of this, but basically it goes over how the owner of this place didn't like anybody that he invited to this dinner. And with you, you're just a wild card. He has no idea who you are, but he expects you to come in and change the fate of his friends. So with that, I think it's pretty obviously said what you gotta do here. Obviously, stand up and just glitch into place, not being able to move is the thing, right? Oh. And so it begins. All the vampires attack, and you have to kill them all. Once you're dealt with all of them, whether the other feast enjoyers, sorry, I'm blanking on what to call them, whether they all survive or not, you're going to want to talk to a Dawn Guard member who is apparently here.
What do you want?
The vampires are all dead, and the house belongs to me.
You've created a debt between us. Here, take this. We're even now.
And with that, he gives you a bunch of gold. You have completed the quest. Don't worry about all the dead bodies or the remaining survivors. All you're gonna have to do now is just leave the area and re-enter, and everything will be cleaned up, and the house is all yours. Now, the cool thing about this quest, actually, is it plays out differently if you're a vampire. If you're a vampire, instead, you will be fighting the Dawn Guard and all the other guests. If you're a regular player, then you actually fight the vampires and vice versa. So it's really cool. You got two options with this quest that you can do. But now this house belongs to us, so let's take a tour. Immediately to the right when you get in, you have a little garden area to plant what you want. You have a wood chopping block here at the main entrance if you need any wood as well. Going further down, we got two rooms to the left and right. Let's go to the left first. This looks like a armory section where you have some displays for all your weapons, and you also have all your forged stuff here as well. You even have a little prison cell here for, I'm assuming, what was human cattle for the vampires. We don't really need that, though. Going across and over to the right door, you got what I assume to be the children's room with the small beds here, which is very, very luxurious for a children's room. They got a lot of stuff to play around with in here. You also have a display and plenty storage and a very nice fireplace here, might I add. Continuing forward, you got more doors to the left and right. If we head into the right, this is going to be your enchanting table. This one's also unique. You get a staff enchanter in this house, which is very rare. You do not see a lot of these all around in Skyrim. You got coffins to sleep in if you are indeed a vampire. More displays all around. You got a big storage room here with a nice master boss chest or whatever. Got a map of all the land right there. If you head upstairs, you got more displays you can throw stuff on. And I'm looking for an alchemy table. I guess this doubles as your room because you got the big bed in it. I saw the enchanting table, but I don't see an alchemy table anywhere. Oh, wait, no, it's right next to it. Yep, they're all located in this little corner of the room. Heading across, you got a kitchen and dining area here with a well that you can't do anything with. This is your cooking pot with another nice fireplace. That's your table there. And then, of course, moving forward, you have the big main dining area. That is no longer a dining area. This is now where all your displays are. So going clockwise, we got some mannequins, a bunch of random weapon racks and shield racks above them to put down plenty of stuff. And here you got your bugs in a jar, your paragons, and all your dragon claws here right above that. More mannequins. You got your dragon priest display here, which this one also includes Myrwatch. Oddly enough, not in the middle. It puts Konarek in the middle, which I guess he was just as important, maybe. I don't actually know the lore behind Konarek. I just know you need all the other masks to get his mask. On this side, you got more mannequins. You got a display for Oriel's shield, Harkin's sword, the Dawn Guard rune shield, Initiate's ewer, the Veiled Deer hide, which is a really weird one, if you ask me. I don't know why that's there. It's just a random deer that you can find. It's not even unique. You can find plenty of them in the Dawnguard DLC. But hey, you can get a hide and put it there. You got Oriel's bow, the Dawnguard rune axe, the rune hammer. You can put Zephyr here for some reason, which is, again, just a random... No, I guess that quest was added with Dawnguard, so it's technically a Dawnguard item. I just think of it more as base game. And then, of course, you got even more weapon racks and mannequins to throw whatever you want here. So this is yet another house with a ton of display to do what you want with. Let's move on to the next one. For our next house, we arrive here at Goldenhills Plantation, which is nearby Rorikstead, and you can have this house available if you have the farming creation installed. It won't be available immediately. You can either get some work from an innkeeper if you ask for rumors or whatever, or you can come straight here yourself. There's going to be a ghost standing right here that you'll have to dispatch, and you'll start a big quest. I'm going to run you through all the stages of the quest real quick. You're going to want to read the note next to this guy and see what happened to him. He thinks that someone of a female persuasion poisoned him, possibly his wife. At that point, you're going to want to come inside and start investigating the house itself. You'll head upstairs, and there's going to be a note here talking about a secret lab somewhere in the house, and then you'll go downstairs further into the basement, and you'll want to press this hidden button right here that's going to open the door to the hidden lab, and you'll see the wife dead as well. At this point, her ghost will reach out and attack you, and you'll learn that basically the guy thought that she was a witch and that she had poisoned him, but basically neither of them really trusted each other. But you also find out there's a kid involved in all this, so you got to go find out what happened to the kid. If you head out that direction towards that tree there, you'll find the skeleton of the kid and his toy sword along with the wolf that presumably killed him. You're then going to want to take the toy sword all the way back here, and you're going to place it right here under the banner. And then Rin shows up with the other two ghosts.
Hi there.
Hi.
Thanks a lot. Here, take this for all your hard work.
And basically, you have just put the whole family to rest doing that. And you have now obtained the plantation as your own home. Now, there is another quest involved with this. To actually get everything up and running, you're going to want to plant 10 crops here. And after doing that, you're going to get the option to hire a steward for the plantation. Just like with the Hearthfire houses, this can be literally any companion that you take here to the plantation. I have the Housecarl from Riften here, Iona.
I'm still here.
And she is still here, and she's going to stay here as the steward? So apparently you can only hire them as a steward once they are inside the farmhouse. You can't do it from outside, but now we can talk to her, and we get the option here, hire a steward for my plantation.
I'd be honored to be your steward. You've built a fine steading here.
Your next thing is to hire some farmhands. You can do this yourself. You can actually go around and hire some of the homeless people around Skyrim, like Narfi or Brinuin, if you want them to work for you. Or you can just have your steward do it for you for 500 gold.
I'll see to it at once.
And I think at that point they're going to be nameless as well. There's a few other upgrades you can do for the plantation as well from your steward. You can purchase a horse.
You'll want a stable before we spend good coin on a horse.
But that's a good point. We're probably going to want to build stuff first before we do that. Okay, yeah, the next objective is to actually build an animal pen. And if you look over on this side of the plantation, you'll find a few useful things. You'll find a wood chopping block. You'll find your stone quarry. And in here, I believe, is absolutely nothing. That is correct. You're actually going to want to use this chopping block because building on this plantation is actually a little bit different from the Hearthfire houses. You aren't going to get the sewn logs from any of the mills around Skyrim. You're actually going to use firewood from that chopping block. In order to build stuff, you're going to come over here to the farmer's workbench. You can build the animal pens, the apiary, a blacksmithing workshop, exterior decoration, a farmhand bunkhouse, a stable, and a windmill. I'm going to pop up all the materials you need to do for all that stuff on screen right now. And now we're going to go check out some of it. You got your nice outside decorations, which I guess is just the garden here. You got some banners and stuff all around. I think this guy, yeah, he's one of our farmhands. This is your blacksmith workshop. I don't know why it's in a cage. That's kind of weird. And plus, you can't really exit out this side to get to the smelter easily, which is very inconvenient. But hey, I guess it's there and it works. Your apiaries are here across the way. You can get bees and honeycomb from there. I'm pretty sure that well was there before. If not, I'm wrong, and there it is. Over here is your little animal pen right here where all your animals are going to go. We'll fill that up here in a second. This is your mill where you can get sacks of flour and straw from it. You can craft that stuff there. And down over here, you may have noticed there was a little camp here before where the farmhands were living. Now it is the farmhand bunkhouse, which there's not going to be anything too useful in there. It's just going to be full of beds and stuff for your farmhands to live at. I guess we might as well show it off, but like I said, nothing too useful in here to really know about. You got 3 very cramped beds, a cooking pot, and just an eating area. That's about it. And right across from there is our stable right here. And once you have built all of that, you have your next objective that I wasn't paying attention to. We got to talk to Iona about purchasing livestock. And Iona is right over here now in your other plot of land that you can plant stuff in, by the way. I forgot to mention. I showed that one, which is a small plot, but then you have all of this that you can grow even more stuff at. So there's plenty of stuff area to grow anything at. We're going to purchase a horse for 1,000 gold.
There's one I've had my eye on. I'll see if it's still for sale.
We're going to purchase livestock.
What did you have in mind?
You can buy a cow for 300 gold.
Is there anything else you need? Certainly.
You can buy a few goats for 200 gold. That's kind of unique. I don't think you can buy goats at any of the Hearthfire houses. And of course, you can buy a couple of chickens for 100 gold.
Is there anything else you need?
You can buy new furnishings for the farmhouse as well. That's all the inside stuff. You can buy a kitchen.
Very good. Is there anything else you need? Of course. What room?
A dining area.
Very good. Is there anything else you need? Of course. What room?
Alchemy and enchanting lab.
Is there anything else you need? Of course. What room?
A loft.
Very good. Is there anything else you need? Of course. What room would
a master bedroom.
Is there anything else you need? Of course. What room?
A child's bedroom.
I'll take my leave then.
And there should be one other thing. I don't know why she booted me from the conversation. I'm pretty sure there was one other thing there. Unless I'm wrong, but I guess that's all I can do. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and head on inside and see what's all changed with all those upgrades. If my game doesn't crash. Coming back into the game after that crash, I noticed that I had to rebuy all the upgrades, and there was another option here, so I looked it up. Apparently, these two are mutually exclusive. The difference being, if you buy the library and display room, you can later change it to the child's bedroom, but once you have bought the child's bedroom, you cannot change it to the library and display room. So we're going to buy the library first, and we'll go check that out, and then we'll buy the child's bedroom and see how that looks. Now let's go inside and take a tour of the place. So immediately you can tell it looks a lot nicer. You have your kitchen built into the main room here. You even have an oven here instead of a cooking pot. I'm not exactly sure on the difference there, but I know it's kind of cool that it's a unique thing there. You have your dining table here. Over to the right, I'm guessing, I really don't know. This is a shrine, I guess, that you can put different shrines to the 9 divines on here. Well, we're a dirty Stormcloak, so might as well put the Talos Shrine there, and as you can see there, once you choose one, you cannot choose another. You got a few displays here and bookshelves that you can store stuff in, basically just a storage room. Heading back down here, you still have the way to the secret lab in here, and this becomes your alchemy lab and your enchanting lab. You got a bunch of soul gems and ingredients to go with it, so very nice down there. Heading upstairs is where we'll probably start getting into the bedrooms. You have a big master bedroom here is what I'm assuming all this is, because it has the big bed and all the chests. Even has a few weapon displays. No mannequins, though. And over here... oh. Over here is just a way out into Skyrim. Okay, well, gotta go back in and find the library. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that storage room we found down here probably was meant to be the library, hence the bookshelves. It just kind of throws me off with the weapon and the mannequin displays there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the library. Let's go ahead and switch that on over, though, to the child's bedroom, if I can find my steward. There she is.
I am your sword and your shield. Of course. What room would you like me to... Very good.
It costs 500 to replace them. And yeah, like I said, once you get the child's bedroom in here, you cannot go back to the library. But here it is. Everything's changed. You got 2 small beds and all the normal stuff, including the training dummy for your small children. So that's pretty much everything you can build onto here at Goldenhills Plantation, but you may have noticed that we got another quest objective to wait a few days to start making money. This is one of the, I think it's the only house in the game where you'll actually make money from it, because it is a plantation. You're going to be growing crops, you're going to be selling crops. So let's wait a few days and see what we rake in. So it only says a few days. Well, it says a few days, but I only had to wait 24 hours in order to actually get payment from it. And once you do, all you're going to want to do is just talk to your steward.
Long life to you, Thane.
And you can collect the plantation's profits. We got 388 gold from just a day's work. And of course, you also get extra harvested produce from the pantry. The pantry of which I have no idea where it's at, so let's mark that. It's going to be inside, of course. And it looks like it is downstairs in this little hallway here. They're produced by the farm and will be automatically stored here. We got chickens, eggs, honey, and jugs of milk here as well. So not only do you get gold, you also get just random crops and animal goods as well from this farm. So yeah, it's a pretty good, I think it's a well built out house that you can definitely do plenty of stuff in. I don't know why the goats there are just free roaming. They should be in the animal pen. But I feel like the other Creation Club houses are definitely better, just because I like a lot of display space. And this one, and Dead Man's Dread in particular, just don't have a whole lot of that. Let's move on to one that hopefully will. The next house on our list is a necromancer-themed house. It is located just here at Mara's Eye Pond. I don't think there's any note or anything that gets delivered to you that will lead you to here. You literally just come to the pond and you'll find the entrance to it right here. This is Gallows Hall. Now, as you enter, you'll soon realize that you should be locked in here. Am I actually locked in? I'm not locked in yet. Maybe I need to actually interact with something in there. You get locked into this place, and there's a little bit of a side quest that you got to do in order to get out of here. And in order to unlock it as your home. You got Nara here, and you're going to want to find Nara's notes. I think it's actually her journal that you're going to want to get here. That's going to provide some clues on what you got to do here. You got Necromancer's first clue. I don't think that's the plea, but I'll take them anyway. Open the door, let me out. and get out of my head. So you can tell that she was trapped here as well. A lot of spooky stuff starts happening too. That's not just Skyrim glitching out. You got the Staff of Worms that you can't actually take. You're going to want to head over here and read the Arch Necromancer's first clue. And for here, it's basically going to be a big puzzle. You can read that note, and it's going to tell you which of these locations that they took a route through. And there are various torches around the room that you're going to want to activate in that order. The order, if you don't want to read, is Morthal, Falkreath, Nightgate Inn, and Fort Dunstad. So Morthal. Falkreath. Nightgate Inn, and Fort Dunstad was somewhere. Are these torches? Nope. They don't have. Did I miss Fort Dunstad? There's Valtheim Towers. Ah, there it is, Fort Dunstad. And with that, all the whatchamacallits stop flying around, and you have to pick up the fallen staff over here. The Staff of Worms. If you don't know, this Staff of Worms is used by Mana Marco, a very dangerous necromancer. Throughout the games, he's appeared multiple times, and he's always a very evil dude. But anyways, we're going to take his definitely not corrupted or evil staff at all, and we're going to need to find a skeleton over here to reanimate. I'm dumb. That's not the right skeleton. We're looking for a skeleton mage. That's supposedly to the east of the main entrance. Here we go. Apparently, I still don't know how to use this. Oh, there we go. I just had to charge it a little bit longer, and I missed. There we go. So now that he's here, we got to examine him. I don't know why we couldn't just take the key off of his already dead body, but it is what it is. Now we got to go search a safe. It's basically like a giant escape room, kind of, which is kind of cool, honestly. With this, we get our second clue. We also get the Bloodworm Helm. Let's go ahead and read that second clue. And we gotta find a way to the dream world. This is very easy if you know where the Shrine to Hjerim is. And it's right here. Go ahead and activate that. And then I believe we just have to sleep in a bed somewhere. Because remember, Hjerim is the Daedric Prince of Dreams and Nightmares. Once we've done that, we gotta search a few things and find some greater soul gems. We're gonna find those somewhere. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while, obviously, so I'm kind of just going as I go. The first greater soul gem is to the left of the statue of Hjerim in a coffin. I searched the wrong coffin. It's probably in here. Dreamer's greater soul gem. There's two more of these. There's there's one in the hand of a skeleton in the coffin next to it, right there. And the third and final one is in a coffin on the lowest shelf to the opposite side of the main entrance. There we go. Once you have obtained all three of those, there should be another note of things to do, the final instructions. And we have to find the last Dreamer's soul gem, which is... Oh, it's right here. Duh. And then we just put these in these containers here. And we activate the altar. And that completes this little side quest. And it turns all four of those into black soul gems. So that's one unique feature of this house. You can get all the black soul gems you need just from this altar here. You just got to place grand soul gems in their place. But at that point, you are allowed to leave. But this also is now your home. You got an alchemy lab. You got an enchanting table there. You got a bunch of displays around all the walls as well. Got some soul gems that you can take, and even more black soul gems, so you don't have to do the ritual. A little dining table. A smithing area over here. You got the actual table, the tanning rack, the grindstone, the anvil. Looks like there's not a smeltery here, though. That's the only thing that's missing. This seems to be the kitchen type area here, and I'm just saying that based off the pots that are there. And of course, there's another room if you head downstairs. You can go into the center here, and this is your master bedroom with more weapon displays, your bed, a lot more storage, a couple of other sleeping rolls that you can't even interact with, a coffin if you are a vampire. Makes sense that a necromancer would be a vampire. And you can go downstairs for yet another room here, which just seems to be a very dangerous torture room. I'm not sure what this is. This is apparently a bone forge where you can throw bone meal and greater soul gems along with various other items, and you can get permanent undead followers. Now, permanent in the way that they won't disappear over time. I'm sure they can still very much die. But yeah, instead of having to summon all of your necromantic companions or raise them from the dead, you can just craft them down here if you really want to. So yeah, this whole house is just a big necromancer themed house if you're wanting to do that playstyle. I think it's probably worth it if you're doing that playstyle just for the black soul gems and the bone forge on the bottom. I really like the addition of the bone forge. But let's move on. I think we have one house left we gotta see in this very long video. Our final house that we are going to be looking at is a dwarven-themed house, and it is located over here on the right side of the map, just next to the ruins of Kagrinzel. I'm pretty sure you can come straight here, but if you can't, there you can go to the Frozen Hearth here in Winterhold, the inn, and in one of the rooms should be a book that you can read, and it is called Seeks Ancient Artifacts Journal, and that should point you straight here if you can't find it on your own. Now, this isn't the ruin itself. This is Frostroot Cave, in which you'll have to venture through here a little bit, not too far, just to get to the ruin itself. There are going to be some various bandits that you might have to dispatch on your way through. But we're going to skip over all those and head straight into Nchuanthumz, our home of choice. Now, this place is very ruined, as you can tell. It's not the greatest home right off the bat. We're going to have to go through a little side quest in order to fix this place up. You can head all the way through to the back here and take the Dwemer elevator down to the manufactory. And upon exploring all the way at the end, you'll notice this area here that has Seeks Ancient Artifacts. And you can read their part 2 of their journal here. And I think that's basically going to walk you through how you're going to want to repair this place. You can try and activate this stuff, but it's not really going to do anything. You're going to need a few items to do so. You're going to want a Dwemer cog, a Dwemer actuator, and a Dwemer oil. The Dwemer cog is to the left here, and so is the oil. And I believe to the right is the actuator. Yep, the actuator. I think you actually need 2 actuators, and you're going to need a few more cogs than that. There we go. Luckily, everything here is in the room. Yeah, you actually need 3 actuators. I got 1 of them. And 2, and I think someone, yeah, the Argonian has the 3rd one here. Once you have all 3 of those, though, you're going to want to return back to the Dwarven Spear Overseer. I'm sorry, it's sounding like I have no idea what I'm doing. That's because, just like before, I have not done this in a while. And I'm kind of reading the guide as I go. I want to say as you press that, something's supposed to pop out of here that you repair. unless it already ran off. Or it's over to the side here. That would make sense as well. There it is, just running around here. You give the repair parts to this thing, and then you have to turn on the manufactory. I think there's also something else you're going to want to grab from this room, or maybe the other room. I think it's actually the other room. Over in the opposite room here, there should be a broken down Dwarven Centurion located around here somewhere. That's obviously where it was at, but I don't see the Centurion itself. The Dwarven Centurion is not in this room for some reason. Oh well, we're gonna just go ahead and skip that, and we're gonna turn on the manufactory. Don't worry, we'll get that Centurion up and running eventually. We're going to want to press this middle button here. Go ahead and read this assembly lines constructs thing. And I think that's going to tell us how to make the next thing we need. We're going to need to construct a Dwarven Spider Renovator, which is actually why we need the core that's supposed to appear in this room here, but it's not. Maybe it'll appear after we interact with this thing. Yeah, it says we need a Centurion Dynamo core. Let me find that real quick. So from what I'm reading, there should 100% be a destroyed Dwarven Centurion in this western room somewhere, but I'm not finding it anywhere. If the same thing runs into you guys, you're going to have to go out into the world to find this core, sadly, which is a little bit of a hassle, but once you have it, you'll bring it back, put it in the actuator, and press the button. It's going to activate this little spider dude, who I think is going to just automatically go clean a section of the house. I don't think you have to do anything for him at all. Don't have to activate him. All you're going to want to do is wait 24 hours per section of the house. I was a little bit wrong there. You do have to activate something. If you go back up a floor from the manufactory to where you first came in, you'll see 3 quest markers on your radar now. You do actually have to come to these and flip the lever to summon the spider to this section of the house, and then you wait 24 hours. Once you've had the Dwarven Spider clean up all 3 sections of the house, everything is fully renovated and ready for you to move into. You now own this place as your own player house. We're going to take a tour starting from the entrance from Frostroot Cave. We're going to kind of go clockwise. You got all these nice hallways with a bunch of stuff in them. And while we're walking through here, I want to say this place is absolutely massive and a little bit of a maze, so I might get a little bit lost. But here you see a nice dining table with a throne of sorts as well. You can activate these buttons, which steam your throne for you. That way it's a warm seat for you to sit in, I guess. That's kind of weird, but cool, I guess. But yeah, I guess this was a place where a Dwemer king or something lived, hence the throne. I'm not really too sure, though. Over to the left, you got your big kitchen area with all your food ingredients, your cooking pot, another table, but this doesn't really strike me as a dining table. This strikes me as one where they cut up all the meat and everything at, maybe. I don't know, you got another bar here to maybe serve stuff. And then we can head on to the room to the right to see more attractions in this massive Dwemer home. Got another hallway here with various cupboards and tables and stuff. Getting into here, this is your big alchemy lab. So you got the alchemy on the left here with a bunch of ingredients all around. I think there's a garden area too somewhere. You can harvest jazzbay. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can plant any crops and stuff that you want to grow here, any ingredients that you want. And then you got another dynamo core. Just in case you needed one before, we're going to give it to you now, right? More ingredients all over the walls and stuff for you to take. We're going into another hallway here. You can check the local map. This is like a big circular area, just going around this center area that we'll probably do last. I just want to go around the edges for now. That leads to the manufacturer. I guess I'm wrong. We have to go into the center area. My bad. You got a nice pool here, I guess a spa, sauna type deal for you to relax in. This should lead into the final section. We'll get there in a second. You got this door here that leads into, I guess, the actual sauna room. I was kind of making a joke with that, but hey, you got a sauna here, I guess. Kind of cool. Just a random thing. Doesn't really do anything in the game, but it's cool nonetheless. This leads back towards the main entrance right there. I think there was another room kind of shooting off from here, right? No, it's just the sauna room here. So we'll go ahead and head into this third section. You got your enchanting table here, bunch of soul gems, and just a little table here with a bunch of random stuff on it. More ingredients here, by the way, that aren't attached to the alchemy laboratory. This is your big master bedroom with a dining table, a nice fireplace, your bed here, and a few mannequins to display stuff on. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't seen any display room with this build quite yet. Hopefully we'll get there, though. This seems to be a children's bedroom. Yep, you got maybe not children's beds here. Those look a little big. You got another alchemy lab here, too. This place has multiple, apparently. This leads back towards the main entrance. You got some trophy bases as well that you can build various trophies on with monster parts that you have. I think the only other place you see these trophy bases are in the Hearthfire houses, so that's kind of cool. This would probably be your children's bedroom here. Those stone beds look a little bit smaller, so I would assume. This is your big forge area. You got your actual forge, and you got your table, your grindstone, all of that fun stuff here. You got a smeltery in here too. What would be a dwarven house without a forge? Am I right? And I guess this is your display room. Just a bunch of tables, a few small display cases, mannequins. Honestly, a little disappointing compared to a lot of the other places we've been to in this video. But I think that is about it. This circles back to the main entrance, and we have explored the whole place here. I know a guy into dwarves that would really enjoy this, but I'm just not too much of a fan of it, honestly. It's too big and confusing, and it doesn't have enough display. But with that, I think we have covered every house that you can get in the main game of Skyrim without including mods. We've done the base game houses, the Hearthfire houses, the single Dragonborn house, and all 9 Creation Club houses. And this video is probably really long because of it. I can't wait to edit it, but we're going to go ahead and sign off here. I don't know what guide I'm going to do for next week, but it will definitely be a guide, probably not as long as this one. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.